What's up, everybody? It's your boy Flash here from ALWT Gaming, and I am here with the one, the only, Bleedingaces. How are you doing today, Bleedingaces?
Good today.
All right, cool. And what we are going to be doing here is a Ubisoft Forward event, and we couldn't just do this thing solo. You know what we had to do? We had to bring in one of our ringers, one of our hot topic to talk about, Mr. Lydell.
Hey, y'all,
Not
what's up?
young. Oh, not old, but young. How's it going, man? How you doing?
I am not doing too bad. Just super excited.
Right.
Excited.
All right, so we're about 8 minutes away from the Ubisoft Forward event. Guys, what are your
I keep
predictions?
forgetting about this game.
Which game?
Trials.
Oh, yeah. Trials Fusion? Is that what you're talking
I
about?
played several, but not a lot of them.
Well, yeah, there's several different ones. There's Trials Fusion, there's there's a whole bunch of Trials series for sure.
Yeah.
Let's get some background music in this. Let's do this bad boy. You feel me? You picking up what I'm putting down? You gotta bring in a theme song.
Flip it.
What are some of you guys' predictions as far as like are we going to see more game footage of ALWT Gaming? Are we going to be going ahead and seeing not ALWT Gaming of Assassin's Creed Valhalla? Are we going to what are we going?
Oh, we
see?
definitely will.
Yeah, you think so?
I mean, if anything, I think we're gonna get a little slice, little tease. I mean, especially with right now. I think it's fantastic timing, especially when it comes to, at least from what I see on Sony's part, just the PlayStation Store having those games on sale. So like, if anything, if you haven't had the chance to play this series, you're getting the chance to catch up not only on the series, but that's only going to get you hyped for, being able to jump into Valhalla, especially for the two newest titles, Odyssey and Origins, to be $20 and you're getting the deluxe editions. Like, Gold Pass and everything, like full story pass and everything. Like,
All right.
they're hyping it up. They're getting it ready.
Okay. I think we're gonna see a little bit of Division 3. I think we're gonna see maybe some DLCs for Division 2. Are we gonna see another Tom Clancy game here? We've already seen Point Break. I mean, they've honestly always done pretty well. Do you think we're gonna
Probably
see
Rainbow Six Siege.
Nah, I don't know, man. They had time to do that, and at this point, it's just like, does it make sense to do one? I think it'd be great. I think it'd be really great, but does it really make sense to do one though? That's the problem. That's the question.
Well, I mean, they've had their Rayman series on the back burner for a bit, so they may do something with that.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then, we haven't. Even if anything, if they don't do anything with Rainbow Six, there's a chance that they may push something with Watch Dogs.
And that's that.
They probably will
yeah.
show.
Yeah, Watch Dogs
Watch
Legion.
Dogs
Does,
3.
does that come
Yeah.
up?
Oh, it will.
You think so? I mean, because
Yeah.
again, like, that game was supposed to come out earlier this year. It was supposed to come out way before this time period right now, but of course, because of the COVID-19 and everything like that, a lot of things were pushed back.
But it pushed back a lot of things. So
Yeah. So I guess my main question would be, if since it was already supposed to be out or coming out, is this where you talk about it at for the future? Like, are these going to be things that your next games or your next sets are going to be? You know what I mean? Because technically it would have been out already.
yeah, I would, because you want people to still think about it. You don't want it to completely disappear.
Yeah, I mean, and then if anything, this is going to be, if it's not pushing towards anything for hot summer sales, I would think that they would push it definitely towards holiday season for sure.
Yeah. And they just right now, if you guys are watching the video right now, it's showing right now that the breakpoint was just showed off for Ubisoft Forward. Now this is just again games that have already came out, so I guess that's kind of been talking about it, but not really. So I'm kind of curious to see what this is going to go. I actually have Breakpoint. I just never actually played it yet because I've been trying to get through all these other stuff. So.
Oh snap! And Far Cry.
Yeah. So that leaked. But here's the thing, though. I think that was like a leak on purpose. I think they purposely let that leak happen because I guess there's this whole thing that's going around with Ubisoft saying like, hey, well, like this is the first year where Ubisoft didn't have a random out of nowhere leak, and then that Far Cry 6 just leaked. So I think they did it on purpose, to be honest with you. Even the way that they kind of did it on social media was kind of interesting. So
yeah.
Nowadays, let it leak a little bit, get people appetite stated for it.
Right. All right. So, what as far as you guys do know that they're actually showing officially, what exactly are you guys excited about?
Please stop.
Say it again.
I thought that was Wesley Snipes. I swear that looked exactly like Wesley Snipes.
You talking about in the video?
Yeah.
All right, we are 3 minutes away. Any last minute predict? All right, so let's. All right, pizza bet right here. All right, pizza bet right here. A show of hands that they're going.
You know
to
what?
show.
That does look like Wesley Snipes.
Yeah. This Steep and Steep is actually a pretty good game. I actually like it. It reminded me of Cool Borders for real, like back in the day. I really had that feel. I really had that feel of that. But yeah, but pizza bet right here. Are we seeing Gods and Monsters today? Who's all saying yes? Who's all saying no?
I think a little bit.
You think a little bit? Okay.
I think a little bit. I think like they'll touch on it. It may not be like a full on crazy trailer, but I mean I feel like if anything we'll get a little something from it.
Okay. What about you, Bleedingaces?
I always feel like I do it because
That was that one.
You say you don't remember that one?
No, I don't really know. I'm not really. Well, the thing about it is I'm not hugely familiar with Ubisoft stuff. I know Assassin's Creed, but normally I don't really follow a lot of Ubisoft games.
Assassin's Creed?
All right.
Oh, I forgot about the crew.
So yeah. They did mention that they actually showed us a little bit of the crew too, just like in this pre-show that's going on right now. So, all right, cool.
Said I'm basically thinking Division's going to definitely make a show. Assassin's Creed's going to definitely make a show.
Division 2, or do you think it's going to be a whole nother division?
Oh, maybe. I don't know if they're working on one right now.
Do you guys think we're going to see a new IP?
I mean, with the incoming new systems, I would think so.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, just because of the fact that with the new systems, you got, more power and everything that will push behind it. That gives them a chance to do a lot of experimentation.
Right. Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see what they're going to do. If there's going to be anything that's going to launch at the end of this year, or if they're just going to wait until 2021 or 2022. Just because, again, like majority of what people are going, you don't really need a whole lot at launch. Primarily because both consoles are going to be Forward compatible. You know what I mean? So like you could play your Last of Us, the first one, even.
Have a reason for them to buy it.
The game or the system? Actually, we got 20 seconds, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. And I'm going to unmute this bad boy. Here we go. What we got, guys? Down just a tad.
This is Ubisoft. This is Ubisoft World. Explore our worlds.
Meet the devs. See the games.
Join us.
Hi everyone, I'm Neelam Kumar and I'm very excited to be co-hosting the first Ubisoft Forward with the talented Yusuf Mageed. Today's show is all about getting up close and in-depth with all the exciting games we have in production here at Ubisoft.
I'm Yusuf, but there's no time to waste. So let's head straight for the streets of futuristic London and see what the hackers of DedSec are getting into.
Feeling illegal paintings spreading subversive and hostile messaging over the last few weeks across London are not the work of several people as was originally believed, but the work of an individual. The criminal suspected to have links
that's
to the
Queen.
terrorist group is masked as wanted to be dangerous.
Go drug simulator.
Authorities recommend not to approach the individual.
First, they came in for the foreigners, and I did not speak out because I was not a foreigner. Then they came for the protesters, and I did not speak out because I was not a protester. Then they came for the journalists, and I did not speak out because I was not a journalist. And then they came for street artists, and I did not speak out because I am not a street artist.
Like, I'm really having a hard time comprehending like, when he was running through the subway and stuff, that looked real. That looked like it was real.
Now again, this is all trailer.
Yeah, I already thought it.
I'm like that.
Okay.
I'm thinking it's fit.
Yeah.
That is
Ooh.
And I realised that eventually
He definitely has
they'd come for me,
a sucker
and there would be no one left to speak for me.
Oh, whoa, whoa! You hear that?
Yeah, it was a girl. Yeah, that was a girl.
That makes it 20 times more dope.
And there's nothing more debilitating than that. This way, not to be able to do what you're passionate about.
After a long night, London is in chaos. The main arteries through the city are blocked. Hundreds of heavily armed Albion...
Well. Welcome to the Resistance. Here's a welcome gift for our new members.
But the disappearance of the criminal...
You could have told me it was a bloody costume party.
Try it on.
The new key suspect has been identified as David Ford, a 43-year-old London taxi driver. He has no criminal record, but is currently believed to be a terrorist. People have been asked not to approach him. The authorities advise all residents...
That's a good way to start this. That was a good way to start it.
I'm Clint Hawking.
Clint has been a longtime creative force here at Ubisoft, and now he's bringing this vision to Watch Dogs Legion.
So yeah, what we just saw was an amazing short film by the director Alberto Mielgo that was inspired by Watch Dogs Legion and looks at the game and the universe and the characters through his incredible artistic vision and visual style.
The city needs a resistance.
Like the film, Watch Dogs Legion tells the story of ordinary heroes setting aside their differences in order to come together as a collective and to fight for a positive change. You can literally recruit and play anyone who you see in the open world. You profile people that are interesting to you, you help them with their problem, you play their origin mission.
Just help me get some closure and I'll do whatever you want.
Sounds like a DedSec problem. Leave it to us.
And that's how you recruit them into your team. And then they become the heroes of the game and the stars of your story.
And what are you doing in my flat? You with Albion?
Please, think more underground.
You with Albion?
I'm tickled, but think more underground.
What, DedSec? Yeah, right, and I'm Che Guevara. You're done.
And they make the story not only, unique to them, but unique to you as the player and personal to you because they're, heroes that you've chosen and invested in. What would I say to fans? I guess I'd say, take care of yourselves, stay safe. Welcome to the Resistance.
Nice. Nice. That was a good way. That was a good way to start it.
Our London town. A modern metropolis. Built on history and prosperity. Only took 12,000 years to build it up, and one night to tear it all down.
Oh my God. Listen up. Get all your units to move in and lock down the city.
With London under attack by a mysterious terrorist, the government turns to a private military company called Albion to keep everyone safe. What could possibly go wrong? Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Nigel Cass, CEO of Albion. He's kindly stepped up to establish order.
Understand this. I will not allow anyone, not even myself, to jeopardize this.
He will stop at nothing to permanently control the city.
London will be the first city in the world to be made truly safe.
Nigel's not the only opportunist who's taken a liking to this fair city. Meet Mary Kelly, head of the most powerful crime syndicate in London.
Be sure and spread the word.
She and her goons are using the dark web to sell everything from party pills to people.
This microchip is scary, I know, but I got to keep tracks on my merchandise, don't I?
You made me a slave.
You do not want to ruffle her feathers. With the city out on its arse, it now falls on you to build a resistance and take back London.
All right, everyone. Faces on, guns out.
Any of the brave Londoners you see walking the streets can be recruited into your team. Like him. Her. Or even her. Everyone could become your next secret weapon. In our first mission, we need to get some dirt on Nigel Cass, and that means breaking into Albion headquarters inside the Tower of London. All the hardy souls you see here are people we have recruited from the streets of London. They all have unique abilities, and you're free to tackle this mission with whoever you like.
Dear God, my eyes. Mikey! Zip up, get to work, and let's never talk about this again.
Like everyone in DedSec, Arthur can hack pretty much whatever. But as a construction worker, he has a particular set of tools that make him handy. He can even call his own cargo drone. Perfect for gate crashing, when you're not invited. And who needs a regular old gun when you have a bloody nail gun?
Come here, you soidoid shitboy.
Jesus Christ, what is that thing?
Perhaps we could approach this mission differently. If you'd rather keep your distance, we've got you covered. Amy is a drone expert.
What have we here?
A real tech connoisseur.
Hate spiders, but love this one.
What an adorable creepy crawler.
Here we are. Let's class the place up.
A drone expert does have the unique ability to summon their own drone. This little darling is fast and stealthy.
She aimed, she fired, she hit.
I'm reading incoming drones.
She can also hack enemy drones, turning the tide in her favor. And if you are not into direct confrontation, there are more ways than one to get the job done.
This is crazy. Oh, don't do this. Is it buffering for you guys too? Are you guys there?
Recruiting an Albion officer like Brielle here might be challenging.
No.
But it'll get you inside restricted Albion areas.
Don't mind me.
So,
Just
you can
doing
play as an
recon for a
Albion
bunch of
agent right
insurgents.
now.
However, do anything suspicious and she'll
Like if you-
probably wind up with a bullet in the back of her head.
You've been approved for entry.
We're missing the human element here. I can get the defense minister on the line right now.
If you feel you must.
Yep.
Criminals running our streets. Illegals threatening our families. The police commissioner himself. Assassinated by terrorists.
Well, that seems to be enough evidence. Next up, we're crashing Mary Kelly's organ farming operation and putting a stop to it.
That's good. The buyers expect high quality stuff.
And we need a hard nut for this.
Impairing our frontal lobe again, are we?
Bags, don't disturb me in my natural habitat.
Say hello to Mickey. The man lives for his team.
That put another hair on my chest.
And doesn't mind getting his hands dirty. He does have a slight drinking problem, though.
Ooh, a hitman.
And he's passed out. We'll come back to him. You know what? Let's go with someone a bit more professional.
Did you say hitman?
Yeah.
Alright, I'm going for
It's
friendly
almost
fire. I'm going
crass
after
to
your
call him a
question, so
hitman.
Anybody that's watching the stream, I apologize. Let's go try this again. Alright.
So I wonder if it's going to build a route that like
Here's the
you pick
bastard
one of your
responsible.
random people, and then as that random person you go and
Done and
recruit
dusted.
others, or do you literally just create someone so then you make your team?
That's what
Not everyone in London is a legendary assassin or a super spy, but everyone can be a hero.
Yeah, I was thinking of more like that's the way you start off with your own character, you recruit team members, and you get to pick other people that probably help you
So
out.
get out there, find the best recruits,
I mean, you hear the
and build your
you hear
resistance.
the Arthur with everybody, but it's just like, are you
It's
the
time
Arthur
to
that
take
gets
back
to
London.
contact everyone, or are you literally walking up to people to?
Yeah, honestly, I have no idea, man.
Plunging the player into a living, breathing city teeming with unique locales and characters has always been a central pillar of the Watch Dogs series.
So what goes into building those worlds? Here's Amanda Munt to tell us more.
My name's Amanda Munt. I'm a level artist on Watch Dogs Legion at Ubisoft Toronto.
Okay.
Being a level artist, I think, is the coolest job in video games because we do get the freedom to kind of like pick and choose what little details we want to depict.
Let me know what I missed.
We
I'm gonna
get
grab a drink
ample
real quick.
opportunities to tell the stories that we want to tell in the spaces that we're assigned to. I have the capacity to hide things and, like small little Easter eggs. In AC Unity, there was a boat somewhere in the world that was covered in cats. And then it happened again in Watch Dogs 2. And there may or may not be something in London that is a boat filled with cats in some capacity. So I was fortunate enough to go to E3 last year. Some of the people that I was showing our demo to were from London. So no matter where I dropped them in the city, they'd go, oh my God, this feels like Camden. This feels like Southwark. This feels like Westminster. When people are talking about some detail that I've put into the world and they're excited about it, like that feels so good as somebody who, builds these worlds with care. I love it.
And now some news for Brawlhalla fans. In just a few weeks, you'll be able to battle it out with your favorite legends on iOS and Android devices.
3, 2, 1, brawl!
And now, whether you need a Tom Clancy action fix on the go, or want to dive back into one of the most beloved fantasy franchises in gaming, we've got you covered.
They showed Brawlhalla going to mobile and being cosplay, and now they went into Minecraft.
Is this a mobile game for radio?
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah, it looks like it
Yep.
is.
The target is being held on the ground floor.
Wait a minute. It came all the way through. That big shield that just pulled out a pistol.
They use that same tattoo design for a person named El Sueño back on
Contact! Monk chain is down. Request air
Recon.
support. Target northeast rooftop.
Roger. Inbound, danger close.
I need an EMP deployed now.
EMP imminent.
Because I'm getting like the look of the people giving the cartoony feel of Fortnite.
Back in your
cell. It reminds me of Team Fortress.
Yeah, I was about to say it's definitely not gonna be Fortnite because that's epic.
Well, yeah. Well, but I mean, like the cartoony kind of design reminds me of. I think it's Team Fortress.
Team Fortress.
Don't make me regret this.
Oh, this one. They have it up there. Attack that elite one.
Wow.
Yeah, I've never seen that game before. Tom Clancy game.
Yeah.
Speaking of Tom Clancy, it's been 5
Six.
years since Rainbow Six
Rainbow
Siege
Six.
first launched, and the community has never been stronger. In celebration of this milestone, Ubisoft Montreal has put together a special video to thank all of the amazing players and developers that have helped Siege become the game it is today.
Oh, Rainbow Six Siege. It's such a big game.
Yep, there you go. Rainbow Six. You're getting it.
Now it's been out.
In December 2015, a small team released Rainbow Six
I
Siege,
mean, so far they said it was like a thank you video.
Yeah.
Well, I was about to say that could be
a game built on a strong vision, creativity, competitiveness, and team play.
Pour le joueur, le 1er décembre, c'est un début, mais pour nous aussi. Il faut tout de suite s'engager et dire aux joueurs, ce jeu est installé, tu peux t'y installer aussi, et nous serons là.
That original vision was quickly adopted by our passionate community, propelling it to a whole new level.
I got it! This is such a special moment, and being at 1 year anniversary of Rainbow Six now, game being stronger than ever, more players today than we had in the past, it means the world to us.
But we also had our share of challenges.
health that touches upon subjects like matchmaking, connectivity. All those aspects are absolutely critical to the experience of the player.
Through it all, we're always driven by you, our community, and together, we grow stronger.
There is no sequel plan, and we're here for the next 10 years, so expect more Rainbow Six in your life for quite some time.
Look at this.
Tous les succès, c'est vraiment le résultat de autant de nous que de vous. Ce jeu, il est autant le vôtre qu'il est le nôtre, nous, l'équipe de développement.
Now 60 million players strong, we're just getting started. From the devs that build the game to the community that plays it, thank you.
If you haven't tried it yet, dive into our new Operation Steel Wave update available now and take Ace and Malusi out for a spin.
I wouldn't mind running with that with you guys.
A few days ago, we introduced y'all to a brand new multiplayer shooter. Now, it's time to venture into the hyperscape.
Yep, hyperscape.
What is this?
This is what Gravity Mark had to inside the group chat. It's like I don't want to say battle royale, but
Okay, no, okay. I didn't recognize the name.
Yeah, they've been showing off beta players on Twitch.
What was that?
Those beta players.
A hack in the hyperscape. That's not supposed to be there. Let me get you all up to speed, okay? About 30 years ago, everything that we feared about our future started to come true. We made some good decisions. We made some bad decisions. Actually, we made a lot of bad decisions. So, here we are. 10 billion souls living in the crush of the megacities. But the people at Prisma changed everything.
Just by getting like
they gave everyone a way out. The hyperscape.
Now, granted,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if
In the
there's any plot
hyperscape,
to it.
the biggest draw by far is Crown Rush. This is where anyone can become someone.
Oh yeah, heavy Ready Player One vibes. And then the way people are dying reminds me of home.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh yeah, can I do that outfit?
If you get good at Crown Rush, it can change your life. But strange things have been happening lately. Rumors of people getting hurt. Users disappearing from the real world. A darker secret lies at the heart of hyperscape. And we have to find it. Some of us are searching for a way up. Some of us for a way out. And for others, a new way altogether. That's what brings us to the edge of the future. To the hyperscape.
Oh heck yeah.
All day.
I'm JC, Creative Director on Hyperscape.
JC's work on Far Cry Primal and multiple Prince of Persia titles has established him as a top creative here at Ubisoft.
For me, what's exciting is we started...
Wow, I haven't heard that name in a minute.
Giving you guys a heads up, I just went ahead and lowered the volume because I just realized that I was recording and not streaming. So for the first three that you guys have missed, don't join the stream right now. I apologize. It will be up on YouTube later on, but the full stream, that is. But what we just talked about though was Watch Dogs Legion, was Squad Elite, and Rainbow Six Six, and then of course they showed some mobile games and all that good stuff, which again, that'll all be up on our YouTube and everything like that. But right now they're talking about Hyperscape, and I'm going to go back and bring back the volume.
Then we also introduce a lot of new things. You get the opportunity to do parkour on the rooftops, to go into interiors where it's much more narrow, much more stressful. You get to go to the landmarks where there's more opportunities to get cool items, but also more players. So it's a risk-reward kind of deal. We introduce the notion of hacks, special abilities that you can pick up on the fly to adapt your tactics. With hacks, you can do things like teleport yourself, you can wrap yourself into a ball and bounce around the battlefield. So a lot of abilities that let you have fun, that are toys that you can play with. And finally, it's made as a spectacle, so all the viewers will be able to interact with the game on different levels through the Twitch extension. So every few minutes, there's going to be a vote, and viewers will be able to decide what effect they want to affect the whole battle. So things like changing the gravity, infinite ammo, or stuff like that. So players, while this happens, really have to adapt to all kinds of stuff that is happening. So for me, it's really exciting because right now, as we speak, we're launching the open beta, and so it's going to be available for free-to-play for all PC players worldwide. I really want to thank all the players, all the streamers, and all the viewers who participated in tech test and who will participate in the open beta. Here's a short glimpse of what you can expect.
Now, because honestly, the first one, Blackout, they tried it, and I was hoping that they'd set the spotlight, but they didn't.
Watch and learn how it's done.
You have a sword? Okay.
Showtime.
That's mine. Ooh. Let's show them what I'm made of.
Maybe it's just like the type, or maybe it's like a specific class that you use. Help like specific weapons.
Kind of like a hero shooter and a battle royale put together.
Yeah. I wonder how much
Well, I mean, I don't know. When it comes to battle royale games, that's usually like a big sell point.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, normally it's just like, you just buy skins, and that's it.
Yeah.
But I mean, like in Spellbreak, that me and Trev has actually been beta testing. Play the PC open beta now. There we go. We all got PCs, so we just gotta see what that's about. If you want to be a Hyperscape beta tester.
The digital world of the Hyperscape gave our artists and developers incredible freedom when it came to designing characters.
Production manager Anna Maria Muska is going to take us behind the scenes of character design.
My name is Anna Maria Muska. I'm the production manager for characters and weapons on Hyperscape. We have paid an exceptional amount of detail to our characters. We switch different outfits, different fashion statements, different tattoos, different materials until we see them as real individuals, as real people. So the second you pick a character, you see them in game, you understand what their motivations are and what drives them and what challenges them. This was the first lineup of characters. This is our default base, but even starting from the hair down, everything has been meticulously thought of. Would this person actually like this type of outfit? Would this person enjoy the type of tattoos that we're putting on them? Will they actually like to be in this body? Each season, we plan to produce new outfits for these characters. So we're hoping some of our players are gonna see the effort and maybe even correlate some of the accessories to what's gonna happen in the game. We're very excited to see it in people's hands.
Ooh. Like that. As we move into the next generation of gaming, Ubisoft has been working closely with console makers to take advantage of all the extraordinary capabilities these new consoles will offer.
Now we have a special guest to tell us a little more.
Ubisoft Forward, let's see what else.
Hey everyone, Phil Spencer from Xbox.
Okay.
With Watch Dogs Legion, Ubisoft is supporting smart delivery. So you will get the absolute best version of the game on any version of Xbox you're playing on. On Series X, you'll get to take advantage of the amazing work the team has done with DirectX ray tracing to create an absolutely immersive version of London like you've never seen before.
Okay.
Ubisoft has a unique ability to create immersive worlds. setting a new bar that continues to drive our industry forward. I'm a huge fan of Assassin's Creed. I love the time I've spent exploring the world in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. And I can't wait for you to see the gameplay from Assassin's Creed Valhalla that's coming up now.
There we go. I was about to say, they did do that.
All right. We know you've been waiting to hear more about this game since it was announced back in April. And now it's time for a deep dive into the world of Vikings.
My name is Julien Laferrière, and I'm the producer of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So a couple of weeks ago, we announced Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and the reaction from the fans was just amazing. The time period of Vikings is really, really inspiring. When we did our research, we found that, they were not mindless barbarians. Vikings were actually farmers trying to find new lands for them to settle. Yeah, but it comes and so they had really human motivations. So for us to have this opportunity to tell kind of the real story about Vikings and kind of separate ourselves from the myths and the folklore is really something that drove us to make this game. The team went to Norway and England to take the same roads that the Vikings did, to really experience what it meant to be a Viking at that time. And then leaving Norway, which is barren but majestic, and just coming by boat in England and see those rolling green hills full of sheep, full of life. It's just this moment that most likely the Vikings felt as well. You need to see this land of opportunity. And this is exactly the feeling we want players to experience in this game. It is a personal adventure, it is the story of Eivor, a Viking chieftain. Eivor is either a male or a female. You decide when you start the game. They will have to leave Norway to settle in England because you just can't live in Norway anymore. There's too much political pressure, no resources available.
These graphics are nice.
Obviously, in England, it's full of Anglo-Saxons and other people, and they don't really want you there. So you will have to fight your way there to kind of build your own settlement and see your clan prosper.
This is what makes me feel like. I feel like I'm in that world. It's really cool.
Vikings were brutal warriors.
Shields!
A Hellblade.
I'm getting more Hellblade
and the fact
vibes.
that they were mastering a lot of weapons coming from the medieval times really inspired us to kind of revamp the fight system, to leverage the brutality and the intensity of Viking combat. Vikings were not only fighting face-to-face, they were masters of stealth and deception when needed. They used basically any sort of tactics they could use to win the battle. So we want to portray the full range of combat that you can imagine coming from the Vikings. We are very happy to finally be able to show you the game we've all been working on. So please enjoy this deep dive into Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
All right, here we go. Let's see it. Let's see this walkthrough.
In Assassin's Creed Valhalla, you will relive the epic saga of the Viking invasion of England. You play as Eivor, a Viking from Norway, who will lead his or her battle-hardened warriors across the North Sea to the British Isles. Eivor is driven by an ambitious goal to build a thriving Norse settlement in a hostile land.
For the good of our clan, it is time we go a Viking. Today we raid, that tomorrow we may build.
England is a dark age tangle of broken kingdoms and warring dynasties, a land of opportunity and riches. As you prowl England's rivers by longship, you may raid locations you spot from the shoreline. Ground your ship and blow your horn to lead your raiding crew into battle.
That's what I was waiting for.
This is what Xbox should make
That's up to Ubisoft to bring it, though.
Yeah, but again, like, by contract, they're individual.
Your crew will assist you in all your raids, fighting enemies, battering down doors, and stealing cargo too heavy for one set of arms. Whatever riches and resources you pillage may be used to develop your settlement, giving you access to useful services, better tools, and new settlers.
I already know that.
At the heart of your settlement is the Alliance map. It will serve as a record of the allies you have made, and a guide for future opportunities.
See what the indie game.
The Viking Age was a time of warriors and legends. In Valhalla, you will find the largest variety of enemies ever assembled in an Assassin's Creed game.
This is the best Skyrim game I've ever seen.
Every archetype offers a unique challenge. Some will coordinate with their allies for special attacks, while others will use nearby objects to their advantage, including the bodies of fallen warriors. To face these attacks, you must find and exploit your opponent's weaknesses to gain the upper hand. Take the fight to your foes with a host of brutal new combat abilities. Snare them with a Viking harpoon. Pummel them with throwing axes. Incapacitate them with the new stun system to keep them at a distance.
Was that God of War?
Or finish them off. Dual wield any two weapons you wish to unleash a deadly combination of attacks.
Yeah, it looks nice.
Customize your fighting style as you see fit, and become a legendary Viking warrior. All combinations of weapons are available to dual wield, including 2 shields.
What? Because why not?
Not all situations call for violence.
Give it 3.
In this new land, a Viking must find a way to adapt. As Eivor is not welcome in England, you may need to outsmart your enemies, avoiding unwanted attention in towns and bustling cities.
I might just
Use Eivor's hood and cloak to blend with crowds, and slip past watchful eyes, an unseen hunter among the people. From capital cities and villages to the dense forests and rolling hills of England, exploration is vital to keeping yourself sharp. You must feed off the land if you hope to endure. Hunt and forage to replenish your health and fortify your equipment. Search pagan temples and Roman ruins for new activities and challenges to strengthen yourself and your settlement. The more you explore, the more of England's secrets you will reveal.
Ravens, show no mercy!
But as you push deeper into England, the enemy will push back. In a series of climactic moments, Assassin's Creed Valhalla will feature massive assaults in which you will lead Eivor's army into battle against heavily guarded Saxon fortresses.
Today, we will reclaim her. Today, we fight for your land. And tomorrow, we rebuild.
For There's a
massive difference in between.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla will transport you to wondrous and haunted lands, inspired by Norse myths and England's pagan roots. It will challenge and surprise, with unforgettable characters, thrilling triumphs, and tragic losses, giving you the chance to live your own Viking saga.
Whoa, Mortal Kombat, dang.
Yep.
That's nice. Let me put down my notes. That's definitely what's up.
For 17.
9th century England is truly unlike anything the franchise has seen before. Assassin's Creed Valhalla will release this holiday season on Xbox Series X, PlayStation 5, Xbox One,
and PC.
PS4, PC, and Stadia.
We're close to wrapping up today, but before we go, our CEO, Yves Guillemot, is here to share a few words.
Stadia might not even be around.
I hope you will have enjoyed what you have seen today.
and that you will love playing these games.
Oh, is this everything?
I'm proud of our teams for delivering an ambitious, broad, and creative lineup of games. And we haven't shown you everything yet.
Okay.
In fact, we have a lot more to come. So you will have another Ubisoft Forward to reveal even more about our upcoming games. But before ending this show, we have one more thing to share with you.
Huh?
They didn't do Turok, did they?
Oh, don't say that unless it's true. Is this The Purge?
Far Cry?
I think it is. Oh, yeah. I'm not thinking about that. Yeah, it's Far Cry. That's exactly what this is.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, that's exactly what this is. Because that was the leak, so I don't even know why we were thinking about that.
See, I didn't even see the leak.
I didn't either. I have no idea what I was going to do.
Yeah, it literally was a few days ago. So yeah, you called it. It's Far Cry 6.
But it's just the contrast of the environment that they keep doing.
Yeah.
How come when I see those bars rolled, I'm thinking these bars of chocolate like from Willy Wonka?
Oh my god.
That sounds so good right now.
Please don't work at a thing. He's trying to fight the goat. You know, lock Cameron in the safe again. He's trying to fill the goat off.
I suggested Far Cry 5.
See, I haven't done that one. I haven't moved on. And I just haven't had the chance to put that one in yet.
Hey, I mean, if you want to squad up, man, I mean, it's 2 players, so jump on. Yeah.
True.
Far Cry 6, yeah.
What do you got Far Cry 5 on?
PS4. You already know my multiplayer games are going to be on the console. You already know that.
Fuerzas ultrapenetrantes, estamos cansados de los farsantes.
The Hispanic rap? Okay.
Oh, man.
It's beautiful, amigo. Perfect, but useless. I have something for you, Diego. Give me your hands.
Papa.
Now, the grenade is simple. It has 4 basic parts. The shell, which contains the explosive, the fuse, the handle, and of course, the pin.
Don't pull the pin.
I mean, he can pull it.
What are you doing?
But he just can't.
Breathe, Diego.
He has to throw it.
Breathe. The pin simply holds the handle in place. It is only when you let go that this grenade goes boom.
These graphics are insane, man.
Follow me. Now. I am El Presidente, which means that someday you will be El Presidente. And our people, they do not know how to be happy. They are torn apart by opinions, noise, indecision, strangled by their own freedoms. And even if you have love in your heart, even if you want what's best for them, if you only want to save them from themselves.
I might be that one.
They will hate you, Diego. Everything you say, do, believe, will be wrong. They will answer you with screams. Call you evil.
I know that face reveal is probably important.
monster.
If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong about this.
And give
I
you
think that's supposed to be the guy.
this.
That's supposed to be the guy from
So
Star
you tell
Wars,
me,
just age, like he's old.
are you evil?
Okay.
I could be wrong about that.
Are you
As I'm looking at that, it doesn't really look like him, but
Who, Billy D. Williams?
yeah, whatever that guy is from the new Star Wars.
Because our country
The black dude.
is like this grenade, except it has two basic parts. Our people. And you must clutch them nice and tight, or we all go boom. You understand now? Prove it.
That was good. Oh, February.
That's not the true date.
Why?
Everybody knows games get pushed back.
And with that, we're wrapping up our first Ubisoft Forward. Today, we've seen the next generation of Assassin's Creed, the birth of a resistance in Watch Dogs Legion, the cyber chaos of Hyperscape, and the epic reveal of Far Cry's newest installment, along with so much more.
Remember, we'll be back later this year with another Ubisoft Forward
they
filled with tons
their,
of game news and updates.
With their big
Thanks for joining us.
With the new one.
Alright, so do you guys want to stick around for the post show? Do you guys want to talk about it? Say that again?
I said it's up to you, my man. We can, I mean, I'm willing to stick for the post if you want.
Valhalla. We're going to take a deep dive into about 30 minutes of gameplay, and we're joined by a very special guest here.
Hey everyone, this is Philippe Bergeron, otherwise known as Fizz. I am the quest director on Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
So Fizz, we're setting up here for what looks like an epic encounter. Tell us exactly what's going on here.
Yeah, so here we're midway through the quest that we're showing for UB Forward. Here we're looking at the assault of Burg Castle. So these are big moments that usually sort of culminate at the end of the story. And so here Eivor, our Viking raider, is taking a group of raiders and Fyrds into Burg Castle to go and take down Rued and his clan.
So who exactly is Rued, and why does Eivor sort of want to pick a fight with him?
Basically, Rued comes into play about halfway through this story arc, where at the beginning of the arc, this is something that happened before, Rued basically caused a lot of turmoil within the territory, and Oswald, who's the sort of elderman to inherit this territory, needs your help to take him down. Oswald having just been defeated in a previous quest, and so here this is revenge, but also accomplishing your ultimate goal.
So Fizz, as you're talking, we're seeing some of the combat of Valhalla. Can you tell us a little bit about the changes to combat this time around?
We wanted to basically add a lot of new mechanics to it. So we added like some dual wielding for the player, like a stun system in there. And we really needed to do this to sort of portray that sort of the brutality that comes with being a Viking in this day and age. So it sort of fits into that, the time and the character.
Oswald. He lives. Oswald lives!
Eivor, is that you? Shut your ass, twig spine.
Here, Eivor has taken her entire army through the assault, and finally it's revealed that our Elderman, our ally, Oswald, is still alive, and Rued has him captive.
So this is what it comes to, Wolfkist? 2 Danes fighting over a filthy Saxon whoreson? If this swine is your prize, come and get him!
So now that we've seen that Oswald is alive, we have Rued within our sights. What's the next step here?
So the next move for Eivor is to finally face off against Rued. She has her allies. They can take care of the rest of the army. Now it's time to go one-on-one against Rued in one of our boss battles, actually.
Your battle is not yet won, Oswald.
And it's worth pointing out, actually, that here what we're showing is the player going and facing off against Rued aggressively, but we tend to always have to support a 360-degree approach in these things. So the player could have approached this a little bit more stealthily and gotten at least like a good critical hit on either Rued or his wolf, and so you can play this a little bit more strategically if that's your playstyle.
So we're not only fighting Rued here, but also his pet wolf, right?
One of my preferred strategies is to eliminate the wolf first, just focus fire on him. It takes at least one opponent out of the combat. Now Rued will have extra abilities that come into play if you do eliminate his wolf, but I think having one opponent less in the battlefield makes for a good strategy in the whole.
For all your efforts, only the cold dark of Niflheim awaits you.
Valhalla is my destiny. That fate will not be met today. Riders, they should be roomed, wolf-kissed. Made thralls, not treated as equals. We are better than this, than all of them.
Do not drag me down to the sewage you wallow in.
Riders again fight tooth and nail for a sanction. You'd throw in with these wastrels? These arrogant swine?
Eivor, no! He should be tried before God, a lawful assembly.
Alright, so we've defeated Rued, we freed Oswald. What comes next?
Oswald, in this case, prefers for Rued to be kept alive, and so you basically have to choose, are you going to go against his wishes or stay true to your nature?
So we have this choice to make, but before we get into that, I want to rewind a little bit, because we just did this big, grand assault, but Eivor couldn't have done it alone. She clearly had to recruit some folks along the way, get some troops, get some allies. So let's actually rewind and see how we went about first gathering those troops.
Right, so when coming up to an assault, it's a game of numbers. Eivor can go into pretty much any location and be a stealthy Viking, eliminating some of the assets, which ultimately would be a strategy. You can do that, and you'll have some of the ingredients or of the assets there that will have been sabotaged, but you still need an army. So here what we're seeing is Eivor going around the countryside and raising what we call a fyrd, which is the men and the women of the territory who come up and fight in the name of a king. So here Eivor is going around and trying to convince people to fight in the name of Oswald to finally take down the oppressor that is Rued.
Defending East Anglia, defending you. Will you not do the same?
What? Die in defense of a lost cause?
Yeah, so she's really using like the image and like the leadership that Oswald had, what he meant to the people in his name. She's going to recruit these people.
Pretty words, Dane, but the men of Theovard have their own battles to fight.
So we're told by this Reeve that there are troops, there are allies that you could add to our cause. But first we sort of need to do him a favor, is that right?
Yeah, so obviously these people have been run down by Rued and the impact he's had on the territory, so I think a lot of these people have sort of lost hope. And so you need to show them that there is hope. And so here Eivor is basically helping them take back one of their prized locations by taking a couple men and raiding a nearby township, basically taking it back for the people and showing that there's a reason to continue fighting and then get them on your side. when Eivor does this, obviously you have access to a full suite of abilities. So again, the improvements that we've done to the fight system. You have some brutal axe throwing in there. You have archery or like range combat abilities in there as well. So really, again, like depending on what your playstyle is, you can customize your loadout and go in there how you wish.
Fizz, we just saw this giant pulse go out. What exactly was that?
So that is what we call the Odin sight. The Odin sight is basically our interpretation of the eagle vision from previous games, and we thought it was good to sort of bring that back. It's basically Eivor's intuition. It's how she perceives the world. When the player uses that, it'll highlight basically interactive objects, like things that will bring her an advantage. So we'll have arrows, like health consumables that are in there. So it really is like a good way of sort of understanding the world and showing you like things that you can go and touch.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of things we can touch, we just picked up this awesome new weapon.
It's something we wanted to play with on Assassin's Creed Valhalla, where we have fewer weapons in the game, but you can invest in them more, so they become your weapon. And so depending what your preferred playstyle is or your preferred weapon type, then you can go and choose, I'm gonna fight with this weapon and invest heavily into that.
Not only are we looting weapons, but we see something here called the Book of Knowledge. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
They unlock skills for the player. So here you can see the Valkyrie dive that has just been unlocked. We have these spread out throughout the world. So again, to promote exploration and discovery. As you travel through the world and you explore locations, you can find these books that will add abilities that you can go and invest in, put into your loadout, then go into the different locations or the different quests in the game and use those depending on what your playstyle is.
Kept the whole climbing aspect of it too as well.
Now we've recaptured this village, we've secured more troops for our assault. Let's jump back now and figure out what we want to do with the Ruid.
But also that little like, when you're going through those peaks, it looks like there's going to be a one on each one possibly.
The rightful king of East Anglia has spared your life today, and so it will be.
Are we going to see the other option?
Passion is a virtue suited for anyone, Eivor, including you. Thank you.
Eivor decided to let him live. Ruud is really angry about that. Being a Norse Viking, being put to the death in battle is your road to Valhalla, so he was basically denied access to Valhalla in this situation. Obviously, all of these decisions come into play later on in the game, so we have very difficult decisions for the player to make. We didn't want to have easy decisions.
Yeah, you know, when I was playing, I decided to listen to Oswald and spare Ruud's life, but what exactly is the relationship like between Eivor and Oswald?
So the relationship between Eivor and Oswald is an alliance. It's basically Eivor is surrounded by territories that initially getting into England are hostile towards her, and obviously if you want to set up a new settlement, you want to make sure that your neighbor is friendly. So here in East Anglia, Oswald is the man for the job, where putting him into a position of power would help her sort of secure her territory. So earlier on to the territory, Eivor comes in here, meets Oswald. The problems he had with Ruud are sort of put to light, and going through the arc, you basically help him deal with Ruud and aligning basically Danes with Saxons in one territory.
Yeah, she looks like
so, Fizz, we've completed the assault. We've gotten our hands dirty with some combat, taken down Ruud. We have this big open region of East Anglia, so before we head off to Oswald's wedding, what do you say we head out, have some fun, and see what we can get into in the open world?
That sounds great.
So we see a cat here with a speech bubble above it, and you best believe if you let me talk to a cat, I'm going to talk to a cat.
Yeah, these are some of our some of my favorite moments actually in the game, where we put out a whole bunch of events throughout the territory. And it sort of rewards, again, exploration, going around. It's a chance for us also to sort of showcase a different side of Eivor. A lot of the quests sort of deal more with like politics and warfare, and this shows a slightly more human nature to her. So it permits us to explore that character a little bit more.
She could use politics and stuff.
And so here, basically, like you're trying to help a kid with his cat, and ultimately get that cat to sort of join your crew as a cat raider.
You just said cat raider way too casual.
Yes, this is
You're telling
real,
me I could have a
people.
cat
This actually is
Viking
happening.
raider on my longship?
That's exactly what I'm telling you.
Oh my god, yes, I love it. Perfect.
So yeah, as you're riding around the rivers of England, you would see a cat basically walking around your longship, keeping your Viking raiders company.
You know, speaking of the Viking longship, we're seeing some of that gameplay here now. Can you talk a little bit about how that works and functions in Valhalla?
Yeah, so starting out on this project, I think the Viking longship is one of the biggest images that we all have when we think about Vikings in our game. And so Vikings had this awesome design for longship that had a very shallow hull, so it permitted them to go very far inland very quickly, and you could basically disembark Viking raiders like on pretty much any shore. We added that into the game where you can basically sail up to any location and then just decide to disembark with your guys and raid a location, loot all its treasure, get back in the ship, and then continue sailing down the river to your next opportunity.
So I know past Assassin's Creed games allowed for songs and things like that to be sung on ships. Will Valhalla have a similar version of that?
Yeah, so this is something we actually wanted the crew of your ship to become like your home away from home. So we added stories and songs into the ship. So basically, as the player is going around, you could decide to have your skald sort of sing a song for you as you row down the river. But you can also decide, depending on who the raiders are in your ship, to hear more about their life. So you can actually queue up stories, and they'll give you a little bit more background on who they are. So you get to know your sort of fighters as you're traveling around the world, which is a cool moment.
So here we're seeing a bit of a different view. What exactly are we looking at?
We had this on previous Assassins where you would like ride on your horse and you could pull out, have the horse sort of follow the track. We have a similar thing for the ship where you can put up your sails. It's cruise control for the ship, so you can pull back, take in the scenery, listen to some songs or some stories, and just take it all in.
People that are part of your crew, or is this going to be like anyone that can recruit?
That could be a problem.
So, you know, speaking of Viking songs, we have an activity here that's not exactly singing, but kind of related, right?
Yeah, so here what we have is what we call flighting, which was an activity that Norse people would partake in. They would like to have a battle of wits and sort of poetry, where insults would be thrown back and forth between each other. The idea was to try and have a good insult, but also to have a good rhythm and a good rhyme in there. So it's basically a precursor to rap battles.
Here's the silver. Now begin.
Rapping?
About that your mama joke.
To all those whom I speak, they say ain't
Your
was a
mama's
clog.
so fat.
Then you're speaking to fools and their knowledge is flawed.
Well.
How exactly do you go about being successful in one of these?
The trick behind a good flight was to choose the right insult, identifying the right cadence, and then trying to find what rhymed the best.
I'm known for my might.
Interesting. Silent whispers all claim that you're terribly dense.
Then you've clearly misheard them. My wit is immense.
Oh, you looked out with that one. Well, what a surprise. Eivor of the Raven Clan is a true talent. I'm shocked.
Don't believe everything you hear, unless it touches on my flighting. Then heed every word.
Take the coin.
So now that we've proven our sharp tongue and wit, I think it's time for a bit more relaxing activity. So we're fishing here.
Yeah, that's it. So we gave Eivor a fishing line, so you can actually throw out a line and go catch some fish. This is used basically to play into our new health loop, where the player will lose health in the world, and it doesn't automatically regenerate like we would have in the past. So you actually have to go out and get some supplies. So you'll find mushrooms and some food that you can gather. But here, like you can also catch some fish and consume that to regain some health. We also will sometimes have it in certain quests. So it's a good way to sort of chill out on the side of the water and just again take it all in.
fish and everything
itself, then like that's added hours that certain people may not want.
So this is what we call one of our offering altars. So the idea is that you find these around the world and you make offerings to it. So it'll take like animal parts and stuff that you can find throughout the world. Here what you're seeing though is sort of like a fancy version of it, where as you do your offering you get interrupted by some kids that basically come and steal your stuff. So it's just a way for us to sort of showcase that like the systems and the activities in the world can sort of play in with some quests and some little events. So it's our way to sort of dress up these moments and make it all fit inside the whole experience.
Yeah, this seemed like a really sort of unexpected turn for what I thought was going to be kind of a simple interaction.
Yeah, and it's really what we were trying to do with these events is to give another dimension to Eivor, other than just the pure rar Viking or the politician. Because you can imagine at some point that will grow old if you're always telling that version of the character. So it lets us really go into the depth of who is Eivor, what motivates her, how she can interact with the world outside of warfare and politics.
It's a little sinner.
And it also showcases like a different facet of the world at the same time. It's not only Eivor. So it just widens the breadth of the stories that we can tell.
So who exactly are these two children?
These are kids of East Anglia. They are going through tough times with whatever Rooted's been doing to the territory. And so they're just here trying to survive and basically exploit the people that are there to make offerings.
It was kind of nice to see that Eivor wasn't really necessarily upset at them for stealing, and after you talk to them, you have the choice of helping them. You can give them food, give them some money, or maybe just say, hey, good luck, on your way.
Yeah, and then this is something we also wanted to do a lot. Like, so here we're doing an event, we do it in quests as well, but we want to give a lot of this agency into players' hands so that they can sort of shape Eivor a little bit. Who she is, so it represents them a little bit more, and they can roleplay that a little bit better. And again, it just gives her like a little bit more humanity in these moments.
Provide for small walkers.
I'm really trying to drive home you connected with that character for sure.
Well, because generally,
large walker.
It's more so we enjoy who that character is.
It's a St. Martin's seal.
Like,
you're welcome
we're
here
playing
anytime,
as that
large
character,
walker.
not
you're one of us now.
Shape that
Visit
character.
us, okay?
Do you know if they still kept the concept? Because I haven't played Odyssey. I have Origins, but I still haven't cracked it open yet. But
same.
So I think AC veterans might recognize this here, but what exactly is Eivor chasing down?
Yeah, so here you're seeing Eivor running down one of her tattoo images. So this is challenging the player on free run abilities, but also for fans of the series, sort of pulling out their heartstrings for some beloved features.
So are we going to be able to tattoo Eivor?
Yes, by collecting these tattoos, you actually bring them back to your settlement, and then you can customize different body parts, having different tattoos everywhere. So again, another form of expression, and sort of to represent that Viking culture.
Fizz, one of my favorite things when I was just out there exploring East Anglia was coming upon a house or a building and realizing that there was a chest inside, but that there was no easy way in. And in this case, I saw all the doors were barred, but I knew that because there was a chest in there must have been some way to get inside. So I went around the back and, found a way in.
Yeah, I'm glad you actually caught on to that. You're pointing at something that we wanted to work on a lot on Valhalla, where we wanted the exploration to make you feel smarter. So we played a lot with puzzle solving, so making sure that every house that you find sort of appeals to you, like it draws your attention, and then when you want to come and explore, it's not given to you. You still have to work for a little bit, so it'll challenge you on your observation skills, logic, just trying to find how do I get into this. So we play a lot with level design, quest design to offer challenges to players, and you basically come out of it like with a better feeling for the exploration, but you also get to see more of a story behind any of these locations, which we've crafted. So it gave us a little bit more time to sort of slow down the experience and tell a different version of a story.
I like that.
A poor victim of someone's fury.
Yeah, I mean, speaking about exploration and just finding things out in the world, I was just wandering and came across this clearing and found this kind of morbid altar.
Yeah, so this is one of our bigger events that we have scattered in the world. So as Eivor explores, she can find altars like this, and by interacting with them, here it's a trap that's been set by this character named Regan. Now, there's a bigger story behind all this. There's multiple steps to it later on. So this is one of the moments. It permits us to go into a slightly more mystical realm and play with a boss fight that has more magical abilities, if we will. And basically have this awesome boss fight in the middle of the swamps. And so here the abilities that you see Regan using are a little bit on the mystical side of things. What's happening is Eivor at the beginning in that trap is poisoned, and so she starts sort of hallucinating, seeing the world in a sort of different light and filter. And so that's sort of what lets us go into the realm of the weird.
My rage, spirit of my father's rage, fill me!
That is very Hellblade.
I dig that though.
Yeah, it looks nice.
Enough of this cracking and crashing. Let rest your demons.
So we just saw here that Regan belongs to something called the Daughters of Lyrium?
Yeah, that's correct. By finding the other daughters, you'll get a little bit more backstory on who they are, so we don't want to spoil that too much. But it creates like a sort of greater story that is not on the main path in any way, but it is still very rich and adds to the lore of this world and actually plays into history.
So we just had a really exciting, really intense boss battle. I think it's time for something a little bit more relaxing and calming now.
Yeah, it's all about pacing yourself with the highs and the lows. So here we have a low chill moment of what we call building a cairn. So Eivor, as she explores the world, will find these sort of meditative areas where you have a pile of rocks that you could just stack on on top of one another using physics. And I mean, yeah, the ultimate goal is to try and get the highest pile of rocks, but really it's about taking in the sights, relaxing, taking a step back, and building something.
Together we stack stones into cairns.
These?
Yes. Think of this as a test of mind and wit. Stack the cairn stones high and wide into any shape you like.
I mean, you can spend as much time as you want building these things, making them as high as you want, as weird as you want. I'm sure like a lot of these stuff will end up on the internet, like people comparing structures. And the cool thing is that once you've built it and you decide to get out of it, it sort of stays there, and so that's yours, right? Until the moment where you come back and you want to build a new one. It's sort of cool that we were able to give that to players to express themselves.
At this point in the demo, we've explored East Anglia, we've met some children, we've broken into a house, we've fought a boss, we've built a cairn. I think now it's finally time to go and head off to Oswald's wedding.
Is it a puzzle game?
Yeah, so this is the moment it's all been building up to. By the moment you get into the territory, sort of like mentioned by Oswald, that he's trying to get married with his Dane lady, and so as you go through the arc, that's sort of like the underlying thread. Really, it's about Rued creating turmoil in the territory and helping Oswald sort of get above that and show that he's a good leader. And so you finally, after going through all of that arc, finally get these two together, go through their wedding, and you're invited to attend the ceremony. And then all the activities and fun times that comes afterwards.
Yeah, as much as we've seen the brutal side of England, it's nice to see the joyous side of it as well.
Yeah, and it's something we really wanted to play on in Valhalla, where being a Viking is not only about being a raider or warrior. I mean, there's revelry, there's feasting, there's partying that goes, and like if someone knows how to party, it's a Viking. And so here, this is one of our opportunities to sort of show what a sort of Viking gathering is. And what's cool here is it's a good alliance of Norse culture with Saxon culture, sort of smashing those two things together, and building bridges.
Yeah, I mean, what's a wedding without some drunk
They
archery,
don't have
right?
too many that don't make sense.
So like, anything can happen in a Viking event, right? Eivor, yeah, here, just get drunk and shoot some arrows.
Ah, barely a challenge.
Steady all, and ready yourself for the wedding race. The king and his bride against all.
My king, he...
So here we see the decision I made to spare Rued came back to bite us.
Oh, what happened to that hoe?
Yeah, that's the decision you made, coming back. So as we said before, all of your decisions have consequences, and this is a big one.
All your decisions have consequences.
I challenge you.
Yeah.
I accept.
Oh, don't do this.
You're basically presented with the option to sort of step in for Oswald, fight the fight for him, or let him go and fight his own fight.
Yeah, you know, personally, I chose to fight myself because I thought Eivor is the type of person who likes to finish what she started.
Plank by plank, and a dead king cannot keep his oaths. Let
And
me
my guy,
finish
you
this.
are going to die.
Oswald, you gutless Arya swine! I'll slay the wolf-kissed, then hang you with your own tongue.
How does this encounter with Rued differ from our previous fight with him?
So at this point, you've eliminated his wolf, so it's just him. And so he's angry at this point, and so he will start using his big gun abilities like fairly earlier on in the fight. So it's way more vicious, way faster. There's less strategy. He goes literally swords blazing at you. And so this is a fight to the death.
Boss battle V2.
And of course here, like, this is a decision you made to go and fight him, but there's multiple outcomes to this scenario. You could have let Oswald fight his own fight and prove basically his station as the rightful leader. If you had eliminated Rued, obviously this would not have happened. It would have been a slightly more joyous occasion. But ultimately, in all scenarios, you still have an alliance with Oswald. He's proven to be the right leader for this territory, and to be a good ally for you.
Anglia a great service. I promised you an alliance, and now you have it.
And one day I will need you to make good on that alliance.
So we're about to take off from the wedding, but Eivor decides it's a good idea to check up on her friend Finner.
Yeah, so Finner is probably one of the more recurring characters in this arc. You get to meet him very early on. He's a very endearing character, sort of used to have a Viking life, sort of misses it, and going through all these adventures together is sort of like lights that fire back, and so he's willing to join you in your raiders. So he's one of many raiders that you'll encounter in the game, and you can sort of recruit, bring back home, and then have them sort of join you on your adventures on the longship. He can tell you these stories that we're telling you about. You get to know a little bit more about him. So again, it's a fun way to sort of discover more about these characters that you meet and bring them along for adventures.
Together. I'll gather my things.
Well, folks, we've come to the end of our Assassin's Creed Valhalla playthrough. Fizz, thank you so much for joining us. When and where can people play it?
Assassin's Creed Valhalla will be out on Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5, and is coming to Xbox One, PlayStation 4, PC, and Stadia on November 17th.
Well, that's actually a good gameplay vid. That was actually a good gameplay vid. Rating pending to mature.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining us. My name is Eric Pope. I'm the Senior Community Developer on Hyperscape.
And I'm Graham Jennings. I'm the Senior Producer on Hyperscape. Hyperscape's now in its open beta phase, so you can go to Uplay and download it directly.
So a little while back, we recorded a match for you so we could walk through it moment to moment, explain what's going on throughout a match of Hyperscape. There's a lot going on with hacks, guns, the gameplay. So Graham and I are going to walk you through it right now, and I hope you'll enjoy it.
Okay, so I'm actually going to...
So the start now, you'll see the insertion phase. There's the 3 of them in the squad, so they're trying to decide on whether they...
I knew he was going to do that. We're actually going to end this particular setup of it. We're going to talk about it a little bit, and then we'll be on to the next one. Here we go. Okay. Malachi, I need you to chill for just a hot second. Just for a hot second. Okay, cool. So, what are you guys' thoughts? Did it on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate this particular showcase?
Right now, I would probably say 7, 7.5. I'm going for mine. I mean, I love Assassin's Creed, and there's some games that was
like I'm like honestly, for me, for real, like 7 feels a little high for me.
Yeah.
7 would be the highest, honestly.
Okay. Why would it be? Why would it be a 7? Well, first off, let's go and start with Bleedingaces, since you gave a solid number. For you, why is it a 7 for you? Pros and cons.
It has some good stuff in there. I mean, I love the Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I thought Hyperscape would be okay, but Hyperscape looks all right. It's got some good ones, and then they had some that just really right now are not really, I guess, sticking out. They have that much there, though. Really. It's not like a whole bunch of new games or anything.
Real quick, just wanted to give a shout out to CHX Mex. What up? CHX Mex, say what up, Flash? All right, go ahead. Keep going. Sorry, we'll cut you off there, Aces.
It's all right. They had, I'm trying to think of something good. It's not like a whole bunch of games that are sticking out for me. Like I said, Assassin's Creed probably looked like the main, like the centerpiece of the feature presentation. The rest of them look kind of like more or less like side things with it. Watch Dogs looked all right. I would say that was pretty cool.
Yep.
I can't really say much about Rainbow Six Siege. I played a little bit of it, but not a lot.
And just real quick, just to interview one more time to cut you off, and it's pronounced Chex-Mex. So Chex-Mex is how it's pronounced for the game tag. So thank you very much for dropping in Chex-Mex. While we're actually giving our reviews, our particular endpoint as far as the Ubisoft event that just took place. If you were watching live, you just saw all the events. If not, the games we're going to be talking about is Watch Dogs Legion, Squad Elite, Rainbow Six Siege, Hyperscape, and Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So definitely, if you're interested in letting us know your thoughts about the event, please let that put that inside the comments below, and continue bleeding aces.
And there wasn't a lot of, I would say, good new IPs coming out. Most of them, the strong IPs are what they're sticking with.
Yeah, I was about to say, I only saw one. But again, this is a developer, like it's Ubisoft. It's not like it's a whole console, so I'm not really too surprised about that. But yeah, I only saw one, which was Squad Elite, and I'm not even sure if that's even new. It might be new, but I don't know.
Hyperscape.
No.
Yeah.
Squad Elite.
Oh.
Yes, Hyperscape is new. That is new. But
yeah, but I feel more like they're kind of trying to jump onto the
Battle
Royale trend. Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, almost each thing is going to have its own, kind of Battle Royale bit. If, they can dip their hand in it. And, I mean, what? I'm trying to think. What? Apex is EA?
Yeah. Apex is EA.
And so it's just like we're going to get it. I mean, with each company that already kind of has like their throw in on a shooter, I feel like they are going to go out of their way to, try and jump on that train.
Right.
Like the only people that like game company wise that I don't see like trying to jump onto that would be like Square Enix. I don't really see them jumping into that.
Nope.
Or like Capcom. Capcom's like is an up and down. I could see them doing it both because they are, competitive based on certain things, but I mean, like, they may put their own spin to, something like that.
Yeah. And actually, so Chex just put in here, everybody is tapping into battle royales. I would not be surprised if you saw a Halo edition of style battles battle royales coming out. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, you're very correct
Halo
about
Infinite.
that. I think they've rumored it to where they're going to be doing that for Star Wars even. You know what I mean? So like, you already have Battlefront 2.
Battlefront 1 and 2.
Yeah, you already had that out for Star Wars, which that's worked out. I mean, that's a classic. It's been out ever since PS1 for that particular setup, that particular series. But it's not necessarily a battle royale.
But I mean, the reboot that essentially with the reboot that they did with 2, with all of the expansions and everything that they built upon that to even make it as big as it is now, because I mean, as we all know, Battlefront 1 and 2 was a thing that no one was really about.
Right.
They wanted their original. But 2 has been, I think 1 and 2 have been like coming back full steam, especially 2.
Oh god!
Like Ray and some of the newer people from the newer parts of the saga into it.
So 2 was a train wreck. I mean, honestly, to be honest,
I didn't mind.
I'm not saying it's bad now. What I'm saying is when at launch, it was the one that inspired the entire loot box scandal and stuff.
Yeah.
They ended up going to court.
You used the word scandal.
It was bad. Okay. It was extremely bad with that. They went to court, and that's the reason why now they have that in-game transactions now in the games.
Right.
Because Battlefront 2 was so bad with that.
Yeah.
And I think they've came back. I mean, yeah, we played some of it recently. It's not bad. It's a good game. It's just, I'm glad that they went back on that, some of those decisions. Hopefully they do it. If you're going to do battle royale, you got to put your own spin on it.
Which I think that Hyperscape did. I think it's different.
Oh yeah. They're Ready Player One / Tron.
Right.
I dig it.
So you're locked in at a 7, and Chex, so if you're still inside the chat, if you're checking into this, if you're able to give this whole event, Ubisoft's event, scale 1 to 10, what would you put it at? But on to you, Lydell, the Bell, acting swell. Why would 7 be high for you, and what would be official rating for it? What would you put it at?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I sit at like because I know it's solely for a gaming company, but like with what they have, I felt like they could have delivered a little more. I mean, I honestly said like 5.6. I'd probably be like 5.5.
Okay.
I mean, just because of like, they hit us up with their big 3, with like a suicide of new projects.
Right.
And I mean, I thought that they would have did a more grandeur kind of deal with more than just, here's our 3 big ones. It's almost like, if Capcom was to do something like this, then, they would have done, Resident Evil, Marvel vs. Capcom, and Street Fighter. And then, something new. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just like, okay, these are the ones that I'm expecting. I was hoping that you were going to show me a little more when it comes to, some ideas that you may have had in the background.
Right.
Like hyperspace looks, it looks good for what it's going to be as a battle royale. But I thought that they would have had a little more variety, maybe would have thrown in like a Rayman or something, more kiddie-ish with like, the Rabbids that, that they have. I was thrilled for the Far Cry, for the cinematic that we got, but of course it's purely just a cinematic. I was glad that we were able to get a little bit more in depth with Legion, but there's still a lot of vague in there. So, like my heart, like I'm happy for it, but like I can't throw myself in there because there's just certain things that, at least for me as a player, I would still like to have an answer for before going and purchasing, because I don't want to have an idea of what a game is and then it not be the way it is. No Man's Sky.
Well, actually, me and Gravity were just talking about that before the stream, and he's talking about how he's starting to enjoy it. His only critique now is he wished that there was more space combat in that. But
oh my God, No Man's Sky is so good now compared to when it launched.
Yeah,
that's what he was saying. But yeah.
But I mean, that's the huge thing. Like with with some with some of the ideas with the games that they've had, like we get the general idea of what it's supposed to be. Assassin's Creed was like the star of the show essentially. But I mean but with that one being the front runner because everyone's excited about it, like it kind of puts the other two in the dust, but they've carried the name just as much as Assassin's Creed.
Right.
It was the front runner though. Assassin's Creed was completely the front runner
for Ubisoft.
Yeah,
I agree. He wasn't hungry. He wasn't hungry. You could try to give it to him, but he wasn't hungry.
What about you, man?
Yeah, so for me, there was all right. So you have Watch Dogs Legion, Squad Elite, Rainbow Six, Hyperscape, and Assassin's Creed. So I was a little underwhelmed as far as how much that they shown, and I say that as because not so much the gameplay itself, because each game that they showed quite a bit. So that part I was satisfied with, but I was hoping that they would show more of what they're going to be revealing for the next gen consoles versus just maybe announcing it one time, because majority of this, if not all of it, is going to be on PS4 and PS4 and Xbox One.
Yep.
As well as PC. You know what I mean? So that part was a little underwhelming. I was expecting a little bit more. I felt like we stayed on Watch Dogs Legions just a little long. I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it, but I see now why they did it. But at the time, I'm like, okay, I'm waiting for the next thing. How come this is taking 15, 20 minutes? Yeah. How come we're showing this one game for 15, 20 minutes talking about several things that people can do? We know each person now at this point can do their own thing. You have the construction worker, you have the grandma, you have the hacker. You know what I mean? You have all these different people that have different perks. So we get the gist. So now on to the next thing, but I see why they didn't do it is because there isn't really much more that they can expand on with only 6 games inside their lineup. You know what I mean? And on top of that, one of them's not even new. It's just a thank you to Rainbow Six.
Yeah.
So,
which I thought that was more so a gut punch.
Yeah.
We get instead of the new thing for Rainbow Six, we get the Elite Squad, but for Tom Clancy to be that just like the series in general with all of its avenues that it's already explored, I thought that even alongside of that we would have gotten something else,
right,
or something more, at least with Siege. Just like we're celebrating this long with Siege, this is something new that we're going to drop for it. Or this so much, we decided that we're going to have this expansion, or this is in the mix for it. But for it to just kind of be like, well, thank you for this, and here's Elite Squad, here's this cartoony one. like, here's your Fort 19 Fortress.
No, I do agree with you on that. I'm a lot more hyped for Watch Dogs Legion than I was a year and a half ago. Definitely a lot more now. I still have some questions about it. Squad Elite looked interesting, but I feel like they're taking too much of that Fortnite-ish route. So I got to see what that's going to entail more of. Because the gameplay we saw, actually we didn't even see gameplay. It was just a game trailer, pretty much.
Yeah.
So
and it's just like I keep alluding, like going back to it. Just the design of the characters gave me the nostalgia feel of just like the Team Fortress characters. You know, Pyro, the Scout, and
the Medic.
Yeah, like me looking at like the big dude with the shield who got shot in the foot. I was just like, that looks like the Pyro.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of familiarity there, and I don't know. It has my interest, but it's not like one of those like. It's not like one of those like. All right, I gotta get it. Like if you remember, did you watch the PlayStation 5 event there, Lydell?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know when Kenna dropped, that was my jam. I was like, yo, I'm copping this day one. Like this is one of those games you got to get. So
yeah.
Squad Elite has my interest, but right now there's not like a whole lot that's just like, okay, I gotta get this. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, Rainbow Six Siege. I mean, this did make me want to play some Rainbow Six Siege, but I know that that's just going to be a temporary itch, and then it will just kind of go away. I mean, it's always nice to have Rainbow Six Siege on your back pocket to always come back to, like, hey, let's go ahead and jump on this with the squad and everything like that. It's always nice to do that, but. As far as this event, I probably wouldn't have showed that. I probably would have given them a special credit, like at the end, maybe a short clip, because I feel like they spent a little too much time on that. Thank you, but it is what it is. Hyperscape, I am excited for that, and I'm going to try to see if I can actually sign up for the beta. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, I loved everything they showed me, but on a marketing standpoint, I feel like they showed too much here. Like, what is Xbox going to show now at their event? You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Go ahead.
Well, that's not their responsibility to do what Xbox is supposed to do.
No, Xbox has exclusive rights. Yeah, Xbox has exclusive rights to show that off.
Xbox's job is to show off the Assassin's Creed Valhalla. That's their thing. They have to deal with that on their own.
Chex just went ahead and said the only game I ever really got excited for with the Ubisoft really is the only Assassin's Creed series. So yeah, so and we agree with you. We agree with the Chex. Like we all kind of definitely felt like they said definitely felt like Shadow of Mordor and War went beyond the thrill when you get to Assassin's Creed. Excited for
I forgot about that.
Thank you for reminding me. Thank you, because
I forgot about that game.
Yeah. Like I was watching it, and it was just like, oh man, a little Skyrim, a little this, a little that. But then like watching some of just watching that fight between the Druid and whatever, it was like that was your adversary. Yeah. That dude was your adversary.
Yeah. And then. They went ahead and said excited for another Lord of the Rings style free play. You know what I mean? And that's kind of how that would be like. Like he hit the nail right on the head. Shadow of Mordor right there. That's pretty much what that is. Yeah, I'm very excited for Assassin's Creed Valhalla as a whole. As a whole, they did well. They did.
Mm-hmm.
You okay, guys? Okay. Sorry. He's drinking a little fast. As a whole, they. As a whole, they did really well. I am excited for more than half of these games. However, I feel like again, it could have been. They could have showed a little bit more. They could have showed us Gods and Monsters. They could have showed us like some of the stuff that they showed inside the pre-show. If they're going to show the old stuff, you might as well just show it inside this. You know what I mean? Just to make that content a little bit better. Not every particular game that they did show is so lengthy.
Yeah, well, I mean, and then even with that, I think that like they could have, if anything, they could have like instead of the thank you for the Rainbow Siege, they could have expanded on like the 2 mobile games during that period, and then they could have thrown in like Gods and Monsters or something over here instead of just like hey, that Brawlhalla game. Look at this, and this is also going to be on mobile for cross-platform. Like, I mean, it's just like it's a game that you already have. We already kind of know what it's about, and you could have thrown that at the end. Because
to be honest, it's almost like they played it safe and touched every point they needed to.
They did. I am shocked though, and I'll give my rating after this, but I am very shocked though that they didn't show Gods and Monsters, especially since it had leaked on Stadia. And not only did it leak, but there was a demo. There was a playable demo that was out for a couple hours or something like that.
So nobody played it.
Where people were able to play it. I see what you did there, Aces. I see what you did there. I was just saying, there's an actual leak though concerning that. So it's just I figured that they're going to kind of show a little bit more on this. Chex Mix actually chatted in. It says, to be honest, they have these super systems coming out with not much hype for the game releases at the moment. Both consoles are launching with not much game hype to back up the systems. I'm kind of on both. I'm actually very on the PlayStation 5 event. A lot of the stuff that they showed, I'm very excited for. Now, how many of those are actually out in launch? I'm not really too sure. I know that Spider-Man is going to be out on launch game, so I'm very, very, very excited about that for sure. Even though that's probably going to be one of the mid-bridge gaps between Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2. Still looks really, really good. What's it called? Godfall. That looks really good to me. I'm really, really excited about that. There's actually a few other games too. I have to go back and take a look at the list because Sony showed 26 different games.
Oh yeah.
They showed a lot, but there's actually quite a few that actually show that they're coming at the end of this year. Plus, on top of that, you have a lot of those games that you have on your PS4, which I have a whole stack right here that are going to be able to be optimized to PS5. So So I'm not. That part, I see what you're saying as far as exclusive for Xbox Series X and PS5, but at the same time, I'm actually more excited for what they're going to have at the end of the year. To be honest with you, than anything else.
I actually agree with them on that one because I might have to actually agree with them.
With Chex Mix?
Yeah, a lot of the showing off so far between the two consoles have not shown too much in the way of breakout. I'm still getting probably a PS5 first because I do have the PC along with Xbox Ultimate, so I can play all the Xbox games on PC. So I'll probably pick up a PS5 first, and then if I have time and money, I might pick up an Xbox Series X. But so far, neither one of them shown too much of a library to where you can go, yeah, this is the future.
Right.
I mean, I've seen that they are showing off new technology, and it's going to take a little bit from the ramp up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If both of them are probably playing a bit scared because of COVID-19, both Phil Spencer did bring up that most of those people, I mean, I don't know if it was Phil Spencer, but Xbox themselves did say that they probably won't sell as many consoles.
Yeah, both sides said that.
Yeah. So this one is going to be very, 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 very dependent on software sales more than hardware sales. I mean, more off the games themselves than the consoles.
Yeah.
I'm betting.
I was about to say I am kind of I'm kind of on the same boat as far as and here's actually something that is about to touch base on this because Chex Mix actually replied back in. Relying on old games for releases does not seem like the answer for me. When I spend that much money on a new system, I want to explore new titles and experiences. For instance, look at the Rockstar games. They have no real titles coming out with the new console releases, relying on old games like the Red Dead series. GTA have a number of their own game titles. GTA 5 is from the Xbox 360 days, and you're 100% correct. And that's why that's honestly why out of the two, I'm more excited for PS5 than I am for Xbox Series X. Sony has a lot of games that pertain to me. Ooh, you guys heard that? that was kind of neat. But yeah, so PlayStation always has more game series that pertain to me as a gamer than Xbox did. There's some games I do like better on 360, but not 360, but just Xbox in general. But ultimately, PlayStation just has a lot more games. That's for me. But PlayStation didn't really really drill in for its compatibility. It's a nice feature to have. It's not everything. I'm on the same page with you. I do want new titles, and there are a few that's coming out that I think is going to hold me over until 2021. So yeah, no, I do agree with you on that. And on top of that, I'm very excited to see how some of my games I have yet to actually beat, because I don't think I'm going to beat all these games I have by the time that the PS5 comes out. But I'm kind of curious to see how that's going to be on the Malachi. You guys see him climbing up on me? But I'm kind of curious to see how those games on the first time are going to play on the PS5. That's not my main focus point. My main focus point is going to be Gods and Monsters, Godfall, Spider-Man Miles Morales, the whole Horizon Zero Dawn 2, which is really Horizon Forbidden West. Like, all that I'm very, very excited for. Some of them are coming at the end of the year. Some of them are going to have to be until 2021, 2022.
Yeah.
So, my rating, if I had to rate it, I would give the Ubisoft event, I'd give it a 7.5. I think it was a 7.5 because they didn't show anything bad. They definitely didn't show anything bad. It was just not everything was pertaining to what my expectations were.
It was more by the numbers to me.
Yeah.
Played very safe.
Yeah.
I think for me, for the main reason for it being solo was just like it was
too safe.
It was everything I expected. I wanted something and hyperspace was the only thing that, like, because I haven't had the chance to really just like watch over them closely, that was the only thing that, you know, popped. Everything else I expected. I expected to hear about, you know, Valhalla. I expected to hear about Watch Dogs. I expected, you know, gosh, the literal name just escaped me, and it's one of the big three for but like it's like I expected those. So it wasn't anything new. And that that's what I like. I like new, you know, as Flash was saying, you know, coming to the, you know, like about the Rockstar series, like GTA died for me at 4, and I really stopped playing at San Andreas because the format was the same. The only thing new that was added was development of you doing stuff to the character, and no one's really saying anything about GTA 5 is taking off to Saint Row aspects.
Right.
You know, and it's just like how long of an old thing can you retain for, you know, to draw people? And I think that's one of the downfalls that has been the biggest trend, at least for the last several years.
Yeah.
So many people are riding on a nostalgia wave that, you know, we got so many, you know, things for Crash, and Crash got such a big hype that it now finally is getting to 4.
Yeah.
But, you know, like 3 was on PlayStation, and it just ended up getting a whole bunch of other spin-off titles. Why wasn't a 4 done back then, you know, while it was still big? You know, like it shouldn't have, that shouldn't have been, you know, it shouldn't have taken a remaster for something like that to happen. So now I can only expect for a Spyro 4 to now follow in suit.
It probably will. But here's the concept on this, and I actually have a comment in here from Chex Mix, so I'm about to say that here in a minute. Actually, a question, actually. And I think the reason why he did that, why companies do that, and I think why that's important is because how old were we when we played that Crash game? You know what I mean? Like, we were probably 8, 10 years old. So for them to re-release it with better graphics and everything like that, you're hitting a whole new, like, my son in a couple of years will be able to play that Crash game that I love so much, and he won't have to be turned off by the graphics or anything like that. You know what I mean? So I get why they do it. I think they're doing a little too much, but I definitely do. I get it. And I'm with it. I'm with it if they do more of the stuff along the lines like Final Fantasy VII Remake, because that's a whole new game. That's not the same. That's not the same. It has the same concept for the most part, but that's a whole new
much different.
Yeah, and it's just I have to agree. Yeah, and I was about to say, and real quick, the comment, and I'll let you go ahead and go Aces. But the comment that, the question that Chex Mix has in here, what are your thoughts to bring in more MMO style games to the consoles?
I'm gonna answer that one. Let me first go back to the other one.
Okay.
going back to the other question, I totally agree with y'all because that's one of the reasons why I do play so many sometimes PC games, because I do look a lot at the indie market, because a lot of AAA titles have been known to play it too safe. So if you go to AAA, get off AAA, go to indie. A lot of indie markets are more willing to.
sorry, I'm playing with Valley. Go ahead.
More willing to take a chance because they want to get seen and get kind of separated. But so I do recognize that, and like you said, yeah, Final Fantasy VII did do a good job in the remake. If you do a remake right, it's great. Like you said, Final Fantasy VII, Resident Evil 2 did excellent on theirs. But if you do it wrong, you end up with a just
Duke Nukem.
I don't know. Yeah, we don't want to. No, you brought that up, huh?
My bad,
so not excited for Resident Evil 4. I'm not excited.
Yeah, I see that. And to go to the other question,
you're not excited for Village?
No, I'm excited for 8.
Yeah,
I'm not excited for 4.
If they decide to bring that back, okay.
And to go to your now the one question checks, Max.
Yeah.
The MMOs, they could do it. Like I also heard that World of Warcraft has been putting controller support in theirs.
Yeah. Hold on one second.
They would have to.
You can keep talking. You can keep talking. I gotta take
this. They're gonna have to compress, kind of compress the buttons. And what the scary part is, and a lot of MMO fans get scared about, is them oversimplifying the game because of the amount of keys you use in a control. Like if I ever play, most time I play. When I play World of Warcraft, I play it as a priest, which probably has about 20 buttons I will use at almost any given time. Not all at once, but during the combat you will use these buttons progressively. I would have like some for like the spam healing, AoE healing, burst healing. And you have to know your rotations, whereas you would have to take all that and compress it onto, I would say, how many buttons on a normal controller?
On a normal controller?
Yeah. Probably about 10, 12 buttons. Now, Final Fantasy 14 actually did a good job on theirs.
Final Fantasy does great.
Final Fantasy 14 and Realm Reborn did a good job on compressing the controller. I still use keyboard and mouse, but I have used the option of the controller, and it's not bad for the main healing.
Yeah.
But the main question probably would be more down the lines: will they have crossplay?
I think so.
I think
they can.
I think when it comes to the MMO field, the more crossplay chances that we get, that will definitely be something huge to work towards. Because I mean, that's one of the big things that people have the, biggest issue with, and what normally determines what console people decide that, or PC that it is that they decide to get. If I know a friend who only plays by PC, there is a very limited amount of games that I know that we would be able to play because I only play by console.
Right.
And and also money is in accessibility. Not everyone has the tools to be able to get that PC to play that game because of those specific graphics.
Yeah, on top of specs and everything like that, that's all going to be playing a factor, and those are not cheap.
And so so I think I would love, and I mean the MMOs that I've always one that I play whenever I get the chance to jump in is the Black Desert Online on the PS4. And
we gotta link up.
Yeah, I got it as well.
Yep.
When the beta was announced, I jumped into it immediately because that's been a game that, for me as a person who has a PC, but I've never had a PC optimal for computer play with people, I'm a huge fantasy person, so seeing the character creation that was on was one of the things that like I wanted to grab onto. So like I downloaded the character creator, and I could barely get the character creator to work on my laptop because it wasn't able to like really run the specs. So having something like that released on the PlayStation was like a dream for me because it's a game that I've always wanted to play.
Yeah.
And like Final Fantasy done right.
Yeah, like I said,
done right.
They did.
14, when it started was horrid, but like
you thought so?
Yeah, they bombed the entire world. That's why it's called a Realm Reborn.
Oh, you're talking about 11 then.
No, that was 14.
No, 14.
The first
14 when it started.
14, not the Realm Reborn one. The first 14.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like when 14 started, it was horrid. But like once they ironed out everything, like it took off, and it was great improvements upon like 11 because people hated that like when you died in 11, you lost your stuff. Like,
right.
Period.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think MMO is a great wave to take on. Is a great wave to take on, especially for the fact that like not everyone is wanting to do the battle royales, and not everybody's wanting to do a shooter. We're getting so many IPs and so many games and so many aspects to gather a mass amount of people at once. Not everyone wants to be a mass community on shooters.
Right. I would love to see play like Guild Wars 2 with friends online on the PC and PS5 or 4 and stuff.
Some crossplay with that, yeah. No, I wholeheartedly agree. Especially the way that Guild Wars 2 is set up, you can easily do it.
You can.
Yeah,
it has similar controls to where you switch between two weapons basically in order to get your attacks off.
Real quick, so. Because we actually got blown up inside the comments on here. So I'm going to say them all for you.
I was going to say I'm reading them. I'm reading them now. I just jumped into the chat so I can read them.
There you go. Yeah.
Oh, shit. Let me look real quick.
All right, so I honestly think, as far as my viewpoints, as far as the MMORPGs and stuff like that coming on over to the consoles, I'm for it, especially for the newer ones. But I got to also see what peripherals are going to be coming with it. I also got to see what other assets are going to be able. Like right now, you can hook your keyboard up to your PS4 and you're good to go. You know what I mean? I think you could do that as well with the Xbox One.
Yeah.
And as I'm kind of growing with these consoles, one of the big things is one, back in the day, like PS2, the PS3, and Xbox 360, and the original Xbox and stuff like that. They kind of had their own genres. So if you loved MMORPGs or just if you liked RPGs, action games, it's PlayStation. If you like shooters, racing games, it's Xbox. If you like MMORPGs, it's PC. That's how it was as I was transitioning. That is kind of a meshed line now. It's not really a thing anymore.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think title-wise, it's still true.
Well, no, I mean, because at least for me, when I think of like the consoles, I think of, and I mean, the last that I knew, especially like if I'm to go back to 360 and PlayStation 3. Now, Xbox 360 gave you the access to enjoy indie titles that were submitted into, their network or whatnot, within the Xbox store or whatnot. But PlayStation, for me, as far as just like title being released and you being able to just look at it, was the thing that, drew me, over there. Now, honestly, when I got my 360, because between the two, original console war, like hardcore, like 360 PS3 time. The first one I got was 360, and 360 originally started with all of those hardcore RPG titles. They had Infinite Undiscovery, they had as Remnant.
I got Lost Odyssey.
They had Star Ocean first, Star Ocean 4, they had that first before the international one was released on the 3.
Still got all those sitting on
So like, but then it was like, when the consoles went to their midlife, and I guess like I call it midlife because that's when like they just decided to switch it up. So when they both got like the slim versions, Xbox decided to not be jerks and hey, I know you bought all that extra expansive stuff so you could play with people. Now it's just all in this console, so you wasted $150 for an antenna and yeah. But like when they did the switch up, then like that's when you started seeing all those like tiny titles on the PS3.
Yeah.
And like at least now trying to focus back on my main point, like I still see most of the puzzle and hardcore RPG things on the PlayStation. I still see more shooters, more multiplayer focused and community based games on Xbox. And no, go ahead.
You just look at the flagship titles. I mean, Xbox's main flagships are Gears of War and Halo, along with Crackdown.
Mm-hmm. And so it's just like you still have those things, and I mean like you still have those bigger games that end up getting released on multiple, but then at that point you think of the community, like both of them have a very competitive aspect. But I usually tend to think that anyone that's playing on Xbox is still more like community, yo bros, let's go and play this, as to PlayStation where like, I mean, I can get on Overwatch and next to no one's talking. Yeah. But, if I'm to get with my I jump around with, some friends and hear them on the Xbox, I hear them more talking than I will on PlayStation.
Sure. We had so many arguments on Modern Warfare 2, me and my friends back in the day.
Going forward with the more slew of questions. So he says, as far as consoles, upcoming games, the only real title I'm looking forward to is Nintendo Breath of the Wild 2. I still would like to get Breath of the Wild. Well, first I got to get a Switch, and then I got to get Breath of the Wild because I definitely will check it out. Definitely really cool.
Man, I need a Switch. There's so many games on the Switch that
everybody can tell me how good the Switch is.
There's a few and that's the thing. And I know we had this conversation last week too as well. As far as me and Aces, you were on the particular conversation, but yeah. Checksmith, you just see that Checksmith says use your kids as an excuse. There you go. That's a good one. That's a good one. I like it. But I mean, for me, like, there's just not a whole lot of games that I'm like inclined to get on the Switch in order for me to get a Switch yet. I would like to play it, but there's really not. There really isn't. I mean, there's a few Smash Bros.
Oh God, man, listen.
Smash Bros. Went through in my life.
Look, Pokemon Go I definitely want to get that.
Smash Brothers Ultimate.
I'm trying to think. Thank you, Checksmith. Thank you.
Yeah.
Look,
I'm sorry, man. There's just not a whole lot that's just not pertaining to me as a gamer.
Okay,
Switch.
So party wise, I mean, of course you got your Smash Ultimate, like that's given. Mm-hmm. The Super Mario Party, which isn't bad. Mario Odyssey, Breath of the Wild, and then you get into oh my gosh, they have Bayonetta 2. Mm-hmm. They got what is it? I'm so mad because like I can picture the game in my head. The game Shulk's from.
Oh, Shulk?
Yeah, the game Shulk's from.
You're talking about
the fighter that's in Smash?
Not ARMS.
No.
I know what you're talking about. I know it's Shulk. I know what you're talking about.
It's like Xenogear Chronicles or
Xenoverse.
Yeah.
Xenoverse, yeah.
So
Xenoblade,
you got
Xenoblade, yeah.
Yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles.
You got that. Fire Emblem Heroes, Fire Emblem 3 Houses,
Animal Crossing.
I mean, even though I'm not an animal,
Don't you dare say Animal Crossing. Don't you dare say
I'm not an Animal Crossing fan.
My goodness.
My girlfriend would love Animal Crossing. I'm personally not an Animal Crossing fan,
when I was a kid.
but I mean that's one. You got your Pokemon. Dang, what? There was a game that they just released not too long ago that was really oh my gosh.
They had a Mario game out too long ago, I believe.
It was like a shooter. It was like a shooter game or something.
But even right now, like just let's just be honest. Right now, you're struggling to give me a full list on Xbox and the PS5 or PlayStation. Easily, you can just throw stuff left and right. And here's what Checkspace is threw in there: Mario Odyssey, Luigi's Mansion, Kirby, Sonic, Animal Crossing, Pokemon. I'm not going to give you credit for Animal Crossing. I'm not giving you credit for that. Pokemon and Donkey Kong, Splatoon, Mario Kart.
Honestly, Checkmax, Mario Kart 9 should have been out. There should have already been a Mario Kart 9. They didn't need to do a deluxe. They should have did a 9. Mm-hmm. And
double teams.
Donkey Kong, I will give you Donkey Kong. I still need a Star Fox, and they snuffed out my Metroid. So me and the team go fight. Like they snuffed out my Metroid. They're like, you saw Metroid Prime 4.
It's like, where'd he go? Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Face the ultimate Metroid Corona.
So, a few last little bit of hits real fast. Just touch base on the chat. We're going to wrap it up with the Ubisoft, and then we're going to also have our ALWT Things Gaming tomorrow, of course, and that's going to be 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just a real quick shout out to Lydell. Thank you very much for tuning in for this, man, and being a guest on the show for sure. And for anybody else that may be viewing this now or viewing it later, if you guys like your energy drinks, Lydell, what can they get?
You can get Raise.
There you go, Raise Energy. Online, if you guys use the discount code ALWT Gaming, you get 15% off. It's good, delicious, has no sugar. Oh, you also get some of the pre-workout stuff too as well from Rep Sports. So definitely make sure you're checking it out. Raise Energy listed down below that he is holding right here.
Special Liberty Edition Apollo. You see that? See that? Special for July.
There you go. All right, what were you about to say, Asus?
No, I was just sponsoring it with him. But I help there.
Yep, ALWT Gaming. All right.
It's like a liquid firecracker.
There you go. So far, my favorite flavor, by all means, right now is still the sour gummy worm. I haven't had all the other ones, but sour gummy worm is definitely where it's at. But I digress. Anyway, real quick, typing it up on here again. So it says, one of the best MMO RPGs I've ever played was on PC and console. Final Fantasy XI, definitely doable. Okay. Let's see. Have you guys tried Bless Unleashed or Phantasy Star 2? Phantasy Star Online, by all means.
You are looking at a guy that bought the original Blessed.
There you go. Yeah.
Nice.
I have never played Blessed Unleashed, but I had the original Blessed, and boy, it was barren. Mm-hmm. Like, the graphics looked nice, but when I got to it, there was hardly nobody on there, and it never will be. The game no longer exists. It went to Blessed Unleashed. Blessed Unleashed looks nice. I haven't played that much of it. I might give it a go here. It just reminded me I have it. So see how it is, and I'm probably get back with y'all on that one to see if it's any good or anything.
Okay.
But Fanny?
Go ahead.
I like Phantasy Star, but I've only ever had the chance to play the legit RPG. I've always wanted to dive into the online aspect, and I never got the chance to.
You need to go home, but you're already home. You need to jump on Amazon. You need to buy yourself a GameCube, get Phantasy Star 1 and 2. Silent, you know who you are, Jesse. Silent will vouch for me on that. You need to get Fantasy Episode 1 and 2. That's what you need to do.
Do you have an Xbox One?
You can get the Xbox version. Just get the one on GameCube. Get that one first. Then jump on over to Phantasy Star 2. And then we can play online together. That's what you need to do.
Yeah, they have it on that too.
Yep. Final Fantasy 14 catered to my WoW style much more to me. I like the separate style 11 had over 14. Yep, I agree. Microsoft has alienated themselves, giving PlayStation so much more exclusive games. You are 1,000% correct, sir. 1,000% correct. I don't know. They're focused too much on Gears and Halo, with a little bit of Forza there in the corner. You know what I mean? Like, go ahead.
Well, I mean, I think because this is a Microsoft base is just. I think it's so trying to. I mean, you know how we are, and by we I don't mean we, but it's just so. USA. Like, come on, man.
I might actually have to go against you on this one. Microsoft, Xbox One. Yeah, I agree totally with that last. Was this generation Xbox One?
That's essentially what we're talking about. That's essentially.
Okay, I'm about to say with the next gen, when they picked up those 5 companies, they really are basically saying, yeah, we're throwing our hat into the big market of first party games. When you pick up 5 big companies like that, that's something, especially the companies they picked up.
Well, some of those companies though that they have picked up hasn't done anything in a while.
They haven't, because they're working on stuff. COVID has slowed stuff down. We're gonna wait. I'm waiting for the Xbox. I'm giving them a benefit of the doubt. We're gonna wait for them. What is it? July 23rd? If they have another showing. Okay, so we're gonna wait for them to come out from the rock, and we're gonna see what they show out there.
Yep. There you go. Hey, I'm digging it, man. I'm hoping
that they show off something good, because
I like the positivity.
I probably shouldn't ask this on the show, but Lydell, are you free to live react with that on that one as well? Thursday? Oh, you know what? It's not going to be live react. I take that back because it's at noon. It's right there in the middle of the day, so we'll have to do a video of recording and post that later. So it's not going to be live
But
react.
yes, but no, Thursday I will be free.
There you go. Cool. Okay, let's going up a little bit more. I'm insane. Yes, I am. Just because I know because I know it has to do with that Nintendo comment. I just need more. I need more. I would like to get one. Don't get me wrong. I think that there's definitely some good games for there. There's just not enough for me to get it right now.
You're crazy.
I'll take it. I'll take the heat because I'm the type of guy that likes Way of the Samurai, Final Fantasy, Bushido Blade. Like that's all me. That's all me.
Because I had to take several pictures for someone. You keep going. I'm going to look through here for all those game titles.
All right. Yep. I agree with you, man. I do. I know that there's some good game titles that again we grew up with. Now it's just coming again down to what are all available right now on the Switch. That's the part that I haven't looked too much into. They're just going to piss off studio developers. I do agree. Looking to Bungie to 343. Okay. They are new to the wagon. They will shortly fall in line. Microsoft wants much control over exclusives, which is kind of a move that they need to make, to be honest with you. They've fallen so behind. Xbox Game Pass was a genius idea. That was a great idea for them to do, for sure. But now it's like, if I'm just playing Halo 3 on Xbox Game Pass, is that really worth it? You know what I mean? Like, what am I going to be able to play officially on Xbox Game Pass? Them picking up the studios. Actually. Well, I know a lot, but I'm just saying them picking up these studios when they come out with new games. If they decide to put those on Game Pass, that's a win. That's a win for them. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean, the more subscribers they can get the Game Pass, the more money they're making. The more you even have to have I don't even have to have a Xbox anymore in order to play half the games with my friends that do have Xboxes. That's the way that that's kind of the route that they're taking. So definitely.
Second problem anyway, because the PlayStation touted itself as a console. Mm-hmm. The Xbox One originally touted itself as an entertainment center,
and I still think that's the thing that people don't realize when it comes to the two, because people generally are they're so on this console war. Xbox is the better system, PlayStation is the better system, this, that, or whatever. I mean, you go to what you go to, but I mean, I feel like overall as an overall thing that I will go home. If I was to go home and want to use this particular thing for almost anything and everything that I would want, to use it for, call out its name, it automatically comes on, boots on, whatever, like Xbox has that down. But we also have to understand that Xbox has already had the experience with all of that, with its, computer interface and everything that it's already done, with all of that.
Yeah.
PlayStation executes itself as a fantastic gaming console because that's what it's focused on. It's not focused on, I want to bring you the best aspect of everything. It's saying, I want to try and give my best aspect of gaming to you.
Yeah. And I think too as well, and then we're going over to the ratings of the games, and then we'll wrap up the show. But I think too as well that, like, I don't even know. I think one of the biggest things that Xbox did, I keep going back to them just focusing on Halo and Gears and stuff like that. They had such a good coming up, and then just focus, just heavy Halo, Gears, yep. Halo. You know what I mean? Like just like that.
Right. And I was gonna say, and I think there was rotational 3 on the 360 originally, and then like it ended up getting lost, and it was only between like just those two.
Yeah.
And like since then, it's been just like those two. Like I would have been fine with Gears ending at 3, and then like them, moving on to something else, and then they had a 4, and they had a 5. Just like, with Halo, the latest number was 6 or 5.
I don't know.
And but like, but I mean, like the way they did Halo, like the way they did that story, it reminds me of the newest Fast and Furious. The good guy that you thought was the good guy now suddenly becomes the bad guy.
Yeah. And just to answer your question, there was asking if we were from Ohio. Yes, majority of us from ALWT Gaming are in Ohio. Yep. So the bipolar weather all day, every day.
Hey.
And yeah, so that will kind of wrap up that portion of that. Real quick, speed run. Watch Dogs Legions. What are we giving that, guys? Scale 1 to 10. Watch Dogs Legions.
Probably get that one a 6. I liked it, but it kind of went on too long with the parts about we can do it this way, this one. They can do it this way, and every scenario they had to show you that they can do it whatever way. You already established that at the beginning. You don't need to keep trying to do it over and over again. Even though the game graphics look nice, but I want to see more in a way of gameplay, and I'm hoping that they actually do the next show and show more in the way of gameplay, how combat's going to work and stuff. I mean, they showed part of it, but
it was more or less like this is this character's specialized way of fighting because this is how they are.
Right.
Not more or less just like this is how you have to deal with combat in this entirety scenario of this mission.
And what about customization? Is that going to be a thing or not?
Well, you're able to customize at least what they look like and what they wear, but right now that hasn't been fully determined as far as like
us.
Yeah, like how if they're male, if they're female, whatever the case is. Right now, the recruitment is unlimited, but as far as actual like your person that you're controlling,
like we don't know anything.
Yeah,
we saw everybody else but us. But I would have to agree. Given to 6, if anything, a soft 7. I mean the short film I was excited for. I was very thrilled with what they showed. With aspects of gameplay or whatnot. It does kind of sadden me just a bit because we're now starting to get into so many games that are just like, we cater to how you play. And like, I understand that, it's just like it's like
open world.
Like it should cater to how I want to play. Like if it was a linear game and, I had, this specific type of character, then I have to just get used to that gameplay. But if it's open world, it's just something I should, kind of expect. So that sentiment of the game just wasn't, so I kind of felt, the same way, just like, okay, thanks. You really just need to show me like 2 characters and move on.
Yep, yeah, and I'm kind of in that same boat as well. My rating's a little higher. Y'all trying to dog on my watchdogs. Yeah, my rating is a little bit higher than that. I would give it a 7.5 with the possibility of moving up, but I have to see more. I do have to see more. Yeah, I definitely got extensive gameplay, which is great, but I still, a lot of the questions that I had as far as like, is there going to be is there going to be an actual solid plot? Is like, what's my particular purpose? What's really the entirety of the game? Because right now, I mean, I know it's in London. I know there's some sort of issue going on, but it's just like, what are we getting at? Like, what are we doing? Are we just robbing? Are we running a business? Like, what's going on there?
Yeah, so, what's the hardcore? Because it's like we get part of the revolution. We get there's an issue. We get it's based in London, and we get that there's this military unit that wants total control.
Right.
Are we just fighting for total control of the city? What was their entire purpose? Was it because there was something going on with the resistance originally? Or are we forming the resistance in spite of that military company?
Do I get to create my protagonist? Who is the main antagonist? Is there going to be online multiplayer? Like the whole nine?
Like, if I don't choose to go certain routes, am I missing out on core parts of the story?
Yeah.
Because, with how
heavy rain.
Yeah, well, because I mean, like with, because like with how they showed it, it was just like, you chose like, you stepped away for a moment, Flash, or you had that buffer issue, and like it showed like you could actually someone that was part of that like little military regiment, and you got to see that person getting murdered, by the head of that little military unit, and it's just like, was the entire goal of everyone just a different aspect of how to get there to see that, or is that only going to be something that this specific person sees, and I'm going to be missing out on why this is such a key part or a key component of the story? Right. Because with this person, instead of going here, I have to go there.
For Squad Elite, what are we giving that, guys? Bleedingaces.
I don't really remember Squad Elite.
That's the one that kind of looked similar to Fortnite, almost. It's a new IP. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, okay. Thank you.
That's the fact that he just said, I don't even remember. Big old goose egg.
Yep.
I don't
this is why I take notes when we do these streams.
Yep. I was looking. The only thing I could see was like, wow, I really want to do a round of Fortnite. I mean, all they needed was the bus to go through the air.
So what would you rate it?
Oh God, probably about a 4. If I can't remember something, that's not good to begin with.
Right.
I was looking at it, but I wasn't seeing it. I was just staring at something.
Quite obviously.
I'm man staring at the screen. Was just like,
wasn't that FIFA? All right. What about you, Lydell? What's your rating on that one?
I'm gonna have to give that one a 1.
Yeah, I might have to go with you on that one.
It was like, Tom Clancy, a game that I don't care for.
That's where sometimes they just slap his name on everything. That man's gotta be coming out of the grave about now just to come get him for that. Come back from the grave just to take his rights back.
Yo. It was like, I don't even remember. What was that?
I would give it, I honestly would have to give it a 2 as well. And I had to give it a 2, and the only reason why is because I didn't see any gameplay. It was just
I might have to go. Trailer. Yeah, I might have to drop mine down. I don't remember mine really. That was. I mean, I like the riot shield part, but after you hit up the guy with the riot shield and pull out a pistol, it's like, okay. So we're back to this again.
Mm-hmm. All right.
All right.
Hyperscape.
Hyperscape might sit around a 6.
Ooh,
okay. I'm leery of it because I've seen a lot of games like that because I just got through watching Valorant. Okay. So when you see games like Valorant and stuff and they come out like that, and maybe I shouldn't have watched the history of Battleborn before.
Put that to the side. Put it aside. So you said a 6 for you there, Aces?
6.5. I'll do a 6.5.
All right. What about you, Illis?
I'll go 8. It's definitely not, something that as much as I enjoy shooters aren't games that I would go out of my way to just play, but that is definitely a game that I could see, like, maybe potentially with, like, friends getting together. I liked what I saw, especially for the fact that, I can get my Ready Player One Tron on. And the fact that I think it would go a little higher for me if they were trying to give us personality with the characters and if the characters would like certain things, but like if we would have got the chance to see, like, is it just fully custom, like, is it just full customization of the person and whatever skills that are there, or are there actually legitimate classes that are going on, and that's why you're seeing such the variety, because we see the heavy gun, we see people with swords, we see people with pistols, we see people with rifles. So it's just like, is there like certain aspects of certain people that get to have that flash ability where like they jump speed and warp, or is that just an ability that you earn? Like, if we were able to get into that a little bit more, it'd probably be a 10 if I was able to get that. But I mean, just seeing what we were able to get, and for it to be a battle royale with the new spin, I'd give it an 8.
I would have to give it a 9. On first look, it would be a 7. But because I have seen gameplay of it, I've seen streamers actually stream the beta of it and throw out their tests and everything like that, I would give it a 9.
You have to send me those. I'm about to watch them.
They're on Twitch. You can find them all over the place.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah. One of the things too, as well, is that I've noticed the only thing that would make it an 8 for me is when I play it. Some of these gamers, they have their settings set all the way on hyper mode, so they're moving all quick and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I can't. Yeah, and I was about to say, if I don't know the concept of the game, I can't move that quick. So that was actually one of the biggest things too, as well, for me, is that, like, with the stream that I did watch, guy was good. They ended up winning, but he was moving so quick. And pertaining to your inquiry there, Illis, is that it looks like there was items that you were able to pick up, and that would give you shield or give you the abilities and stuff like that. The sword at the very beginning, I think that's the equivalent to how Fortnite's sword is. I mean, Fortnite's little pickaxe. I think it's very equivalent to that, to where you have your swords for melee combat, just like for Call of Duty. You have your punching and everything like that. I think that's what the sword is. Now whether you can do more with the sword, I'm not sure. So
like you could. It's like you could like take people out.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But again, that person dashed and swung. So is swinging the only thing you can do with the sword, or can you do some sort of like Final Fantasy?
Bullets,
yeah, you know what I mean, like the whole like a blade from your blade. You know what I mean? So, and lastly but not least, yeah, pretty much. Lastly but not least, Assassin's Creed Valhalla ratings.
I give it a 10. To be honest, it looked brilliant. It looked beautiful. They've shown a lot of ways it could go in and out. Mm-hmm. It's not bad. It looks like it has choices, and the choices will have consequences. It's not you just make a bland choice, because some game you've got choices, but really it comes down to, are you going left or right?
Well, you're still gonna have that. I mean, this person is living or dying.
Yeah, but it's actual choices, but actual, ramifications. Mm-hmm. Not, the illusion of choice, but it all ends the same.
Right. So you like that whole Dragon Age effect?
Yeah, if you're gonna go for it, go for it. I also like too that they have. I want to see. The only thing I want to see is, do they have different ways of dealing with situations through maybe diplomacy or something like that during some of the battles, or maybe some of the things.
Yeah, because I mean, they were making points of at least with that Oswald story arc, that that alliance was important. Like, is there a way that you thrash that alliance but can still continue with the story?
And that's kind of where I'm kind of like, I'm at a 9 with the possibility of increasing to a 10. The reason why I'm at a 9 is because games like that, though the fighting is cool, though the exploration is cool, the story does have to be good. It just does. That's why for me, I like the Way of the Samurai. You can choose to be part of this faction, pair up with this person, say this person killed pretty much anybody, or just be independent. Like, there's so many different choices, and it will actually depict the story, the plot too, as well. Same thing for Dragon Age. I'm a huge fan of Dragon Age. I mean, in the first one, there's like 17 different ways that game could have ended. You know what I mean? Even with your main champion dying at the end, that was also a valid option.
As long as it doesn't have the 3 colors as in Mass Effect 3, should be okay.
I'm just saying in general, there's definitely a lot of choice that was in those games, and I do agree. I think that the choice will be a huge win factor for them, but I'm more curious to see how that plot ties together. What's it going to be like? Am I going to have a guy in the future that's going inside of a time machine, that's going back inside the past and playing at this girl or male? Am I going to be just pretty much like Assassin's Creed Unity, to where that didn't actually exist? You're just playing the actual time period, which was that time period back then. So I don't know. We'll have to take a look. But yeah, that will actually do that here for us for our live reaction to the Ubisoft Forward event. So for anyone that's watching it right now, again, you guys, thank you very much for tuning in and watching, and for commenting. Chex Mix, definitely shout out to you, man. If you want to give us a follow again like that, you guys can follow us on our social media pages, which is Twitch, which you guys are probably on right now, which is www.twitch.tv/ALWT Gaming. If you guys have Instagram, Patreon, Facebook, YouTube, and now Twitter. I switched our Twitter from we_release. It is now ALWT Gaming to match everything else. So we are all on the same track now. Patreon is going to be www.patreon.com/ALWT Gaming if you guys want to be a Patreon producer there, or a Patreon member, I should say, there. And there's 3 different levels. If you get the second level, you'll get yourself a free ALWT shirt. And if you have the 3rd level, which is the ALWT fam, you guys actually get a free shirt and hoodie. Cool. As well as additional perks too as well. So thank you guys again very, very much for tuning in, for giving us a comment. And until next time, guys, take it easy.
Throw out complete.
Bars.
Flames.